Welcome to a world of thrills, a world of drama, of capes and tights, a world where death is a revolving door. Welcome to the Geek Matrix. Kick it! Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another round of Geek Matrix Showdown.
Bum, bum.
I say that because, like, we're all back. We're all here.
Yeah.
It's been like, what, a month, 2 months?
Yeah,
it's October. It's been 2 freaking months. It's October now. It's been 2 months since all three of us have been here, and we're ready to square off again. Because it's the DC Comics Review Show, episode number 217.
It's been 2 months, and Brandon said, "I'm sorry, I'm heading to Europe. You can do the show without me."
And you guys did great
today. But yeah, so we're here, and longtime listeners will know when the three of us are together, it can be a bit chaotic and can get a little bit haywire. I honestly don't think it's going to happen today because there's not many books we have that I think will cause a bit of ruckus, except for maybe one, maybe two, but we'll have to see. So that is coming up later on in the show, but we got a bunch of other stuff to talk about as well, including our honorable mentions, as well as catching up with ourselves and maybe a bit of news that's been out in the world recently. But first, say hello, Josh and Brandon.
Hello, Josh and
Hello.
Brandon. Oh wait, I did that wrong.
What a
Say
riot.
goodnight, Grace. Oh shit, hang on, where's the chat? Where's the chat? I see Russell X. Russell X TV. Shout out to Russell.
What's up, Russell? Honorary Geek Matrix member.
Yeah, in fact,
Welcome
Russell,
back.
you should join the Discord since you're on Discord all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, for a split second, I will cover up Josh's face, scan that QR code, and you can join right now. If I don't see your name pop up, I'm going to text you and tell you to do it.
It's that one right there, everybody.
Yeah.
See me smiling?
No. No, I
It
can't.
worked.
All right, so I will hide that now because we need to see
Sorry.
Josh's pretty face.
I don't know about all.
All right. So, how's it going, guys? What's up? What's new? What's hanging?
Not much.
Not much. That's it? Just not much?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it was, I got sick this weekend. That wasn't fun. So I'm still kind of
Oh, that sucks.
getting better from my cold. It's like I think the last time I had a cold that was that serious was probably January, and even that one only lasted like 2 days. So this is the longest cold I've had in a while, it feels like. But doing better now, so that's good. I don't know. I don't really have anything else. Oh, I picked up what is it? Super Patriot by Robert Kirkman.
Nice.
Cory Walker.
Oh, nice.
Which actually,
yeah.
I saw this and I like freaked out because I was like, how in the world did this random store in Bay Ridge get their hands on this? Because it's like notoriously out of print.
Yeah.
But the even better part was I flipped it around and I was like, oh yeah.
What?
So I was pretty happy about that. I haven't read it yet, but hopefully it's good. But yeah, they go for like $30 on eBay. I guess because they're just really hard to find.
Yeah.
So when for books on my end, I had myself some words with Fan Home, and I have canceled my subscription. I was supposed to, I was supposed to be getting the exact same collection that Eagle Moss put out, and then additional books. but they've decided that they're going to splice up the order that Eagle Moss put those books out in. And that bothered me a little bit because it meant that if I didn't collect all 136 books, I could have the spines made up a picture. So I would have to get all 136 books in order for it to make sure that the picture wouldn't get messed up just by one or two not being there. And then what broke the camel's back was the fact that they were supposed to send me three limited prints of Jim Lee art of Batman and two of Jim Lee and one of somebody else. I can't remember who it was. But in any case, they sent me a note saying, "Sorry, we ran out. We'll restock them and ship them out as soon as possible." And I'm like, "Well, cool. Just give me a discount on the next order then, or whatever." And well, we can't do that. Well, then I can't continue.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sucks.
Yeah. The last month they delayed shipping my order out by 2.5, almost 3 weeks. And then it got here and it wasn't complete. I was missing my prints, so they send you that email saying your account is getting charged tomorrow. So I called them up and I was like, well, no, it's not.
Yeah, not anymore.
No, it's not. Nope. So anybody out there that was listening when I recommended Fan Home, I completely and 100% totally rescind that. The cost is not worth it does not outweigh the benefit, and you're not even guaranteed to get everything you're supposed to get. So
hopefully people listen to this episode before they listen to that episode.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're listening in order,
in short, fuck Fan Home. They take your money.
Yeah, I've not heard
very
many
disappointed.
Good things about Fan Home. Nothing, anything like drastic like that, but like it's so expensive.
That's the only thing that I heard that was a complaint on the internet as well. Wasn't about to sign up for a subscription service and not look into it, but it was just it's so very expensive. It's so very expensive, but it is the Eagle Moss collection plus additional books. And then I got my first 3 books here, first 4 books here, and they don't line up at all because they're being. Really? It's because they are breaking up the fucking design to make you have to get the full 136 as opposed to the 88 that was in the Eagle Moss collection.
Oh, so they're not even doing it in order.
Nope.
They're not really. Wow, that's stupid.
It's mean, is what it is.
Yeah.
It is fucking mean. Money grubbers.
Yeah. Like I think I mentioned it last time we talked about Fan Home, and that a lot of the model kits they have on there, which do look cool and very detailed, and some that I would love to be able to build, but by the time you get the last piece over the 2 fucking year subscription to build one model kit, you're paying somewhere between $1,600 and $2,000 for just one model. And if you guys know, if anybody listening out there knows Gunpla, the size I think is comparable to like a perfect grade, which is a fairly big kit.
Yeah,
especially it was mostly, if not all, metal kit. But that's hella expensive for one fucking model kit.
2 foot tall, 2.5 foot tall, somewhere in there. But $1,600, $2,000 for a fucking model is a lot of money. Too much for my blood.
You get 1 sheet of parts a month. And I'm curious if any of those parts even necessarily work together. Right? I'm concerned about that. Because when you're looking at runners for Gundams, Gunpla, you won't have 1 sheet of runner makes 1 piece, right? You need to have all 5 sheets of the runners and then take bits and pieces of each, and then it makes 1 piece, right? If you're building the leg, you need 15 pieces from 4 different sheets. So I'm apprehensive to wonder if the Fan Home sheets they send you all make 1 piece at a time. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Also, Russell is in the Discord now.
Awesome.
Like,
I'm just
there it is.
laughing
There
about
he
that. The
now
wrestling shirt.
wants wrestling podcast because I keep wearing a wrestling shirt. I'm sorry, I have so many wrestling shirts now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of merging wrestling and comic books, as we often do to Brandon's chagrin at the beginning of this
I've been
podcast.
Excited to bring this up this week.
Yes. Rob,
Uh-huh.
what do you think about those AEW ads in our comic books this week?
I think they're cheesy as fuck, but they're cool to see. It reminds me of old. I have some random issues of really old WWE comics, and when I was reading it, this is something like 15, 20 years ago, and it was this whole thing of like kayfabe, the wrestlers like actually backstage fighting with each other, no cameras, like I hate you, Undertaker, and then like some demons pop out of the sky, like what the fuck is going on? Like those were cheesy as hell and really awkward, but I ate that shit up like it was breakfast, right? This is the same thing here, but I appreciate that they're doing it because it's interesting advertising and they're showing off some of these big name superstars in AEW. I'm excited to see who they're going to do next. And if the image they have at the end of the little story is any indication, it's going to be one of those people. I'm hoping Orange Cassidy gets a cool backstory. I really like Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy, he drives me absolutely bonkers. Excuse me.
Careful,
gross.
Russell also likes Orange Cassidy. In fact, he has a picture of Russell. He has a picture of Orange Cassidy on the back of his car.
On the back of your car?
Yeah.
Orange
Cassidy's the best.
Well, here's to hoping that maybe his comic book will turn out to be pretty decent, and it'll make me like him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Granted, Russell, don't eat me alive here. I haven't watched. I'm not a religious AEW watcher, but that's kind of and, you know. And it's not that I think that it's just like watching WWE versus watching AEW is a lot like going and shopping at Macy's or Dollar General.
Ooh, yikes! I get the comparison. I don't know if it's quite that bad. I would say it's
no. I say TNA is Dollar General. Let's say AEW is Walmart.
Okay, that was a bit better. I was gonna say something like Winners.
Well, I mean, I was gonna make it universal so people
Walmart.
outside of Canada knew what the fuck we were talking about.
You guys don't have Winners? Okay, what the fuck do you guys have? Marshalls?
Marshalls, I'd say.
For those
Ross.
kind of Marshalls,
it's the same
Ross,
company.
Dress for Less,
That's the same company.
Do people
Marshalls
still go
and
to Dress for
Winners
Less? Or pay for less? Do people go to Pay for Less? Does that even exist still?
Pay for Less? No.
Pay for Less?
Not. I haven't seen
know.
one for
Not
since like my 20s. How do you even know where?
Or sorry, not Pay Less is what I'm talking about.
Pay Less.
Whatever they're called. Yeah.
No.
Payless
Yep.
shoe
I was
stores?
mixing it. I was mixing it up. Pay Less
Yeah.
shoes, and I was mixing in Food for Less, which you should.
Yeah.
know
Or
being from the
I think
West
I was
Coast.
thinking of Food for Less.
I think we have a Food for Less up here.
Man, when when I lived in Las Vegas, dude, Food for Less, it was something else, man, because it really was cheap, and it wasn't like you know, walking through and you're like, I don't know if I want any of this shit or not. It was just the way it was organized, obviously very bulkish, but the stuff was cheap. It had everything. It wasn't all generic or like knockoff stuff you were worried about. But the weirdest damn thing, and this is only in Food for Less that I've ever seen it, but you could barely go down a total of 2 aisles without seeing some sort of food package opened and having been eaten out of. It was like these motherfuckers were going to Food for Less, thinking they were going to Costco, and just finding their own samples.
Yeah.
I do miss Food for Less though, man. That grocery store used to save me some money on groceries. Orange Cassidy, Joe Hendry, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton. I will give you 3 out of those 4 there, buddy. Joe Hendry's pretty cool. I think he's got a hell of a rising star. on his shoulder there. I think he's got a nowhere but up to go. Cody Rhodes, I'm going to tell you, I think we're heading towards a Cody Rhodes heel turn in the next 2 years. And Randy Orton is just Randy Orton. He's the best of the best of the... I mean, he is the creme de la creme, man. I guess that's what happens when you're Cowboy Bob's kid.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to find the Swerve Strickland story to send to Russell. I did find various covers. I mean, they're just kind of like backup advertisements. I'm reluctant to call them covers, but for various wrestlers. We do have, so we know Swerve Strickland is this week. Coming up, we have Britt Baker, DMD. We got Tony Storm, Darby Allin, Will Ospreay, and Orange Cassidy confirmed. There are images of those covers. So, I'm very curious to see what they do for Darby Allin.
I really like Darby Allin and Will Ospreay. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Darby Allin and
hella cool.
Mm-hmm.
Darby Allin is the modern day, like, Steve-O. Basically.
Yep. But alrighty. I suppose we should, with as many books as we've got, we should probably try to get into them. What do you guys
Get
think?
to it. Yeah.
Just one last thing before we get into the comics. Wrestler, when you say you forgot Ospreay, do you mean Will Ospreay is one of your favorite wrestlers? Because it wasn't that long ago you said you hated Ospreay.
Uh-oh.
I just need to call him out on that if it's true. Okay, sorry. I'm good.
All right. Well, in that case, we're going to go ahead and mark down our commercial break and be right back. Oh, well, look at that. We're right back.
There you go.
And
Yay.
love how that works for our live audience. For the millions upon millions listening around the world, let me go over our honorable mentions covered this week, as they are every week except for last week.
Let's get ready to read it.
Yes, I love it. Multiverse Collection Detective number 2. I gave it an 8 out of 10. This is too entertaining and funny. It should not be this good for being a video game tie-in, but I can tell you, having played the game and read the book, the comic book is way better than the game.
Oh, yeah.
8 out of 10. DC's I Know What You Did Last Crisis. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. This one was okay. Some were better than others. Some art was amazing. Some was just good. There wasn't anything I hated. And altogether, it was better than what I was hoping for. The Dr. Light story and Midnighter were both were my two particular favorites out of this. Next,
I gotta say when it comes to DC, as long as I can remember, their holiday books, whether it's Christmas or Halloween, none of them are really like bad.
Good.
I would say it's kind of. Wow. They're not like stellar right home, like this is the best thing ever, right? You get what you get. You're buying a holiday compilation book, you're getting a holiday compilation book. Don't expect anything else. You're getting holiday themed stories from like heroes and villains, and they're going to be passable. But it's consistent.
Usually, sometimes.
For as long as I can remember, at least like the 90s is the first time I read one of these. It's been consistently their holiday passable books.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it's impressive that they've been able to keep that up for so long.
Well, I will say that over the past 6 months, it's impressive how much and how many anthology books of DC that I've actually enjoyed. Which includes the entirety of The Brave and the Bold, which just blows my mind. I don't understand how DC is doing that, but they are making what I thought was impossible possible. I am liking
the seasonal like anthology specials that they put out. I thought this was the one that had the most clever gimmick, which is like each one is tied to each story is tied to a specific crisis. I was like, huh. It's kind of cool. Yeah. You know, it's like it's a look back in the past of all of DC's major events, and it's like, whoa, Story from what did they have? Story from Millennium.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought that? You know?
Right?
Yeah, right there, Josh.
Yeah, I just thought I heard. My kids have friends over, and I thought I heard them hanging outside the door. I'm like, that's gonna get noisy. Anyway, all right. Next up, DC Horror presents Creature Commandos #1. I don't know if Brandon was looking forward to this one as much as I was, but I was looking forward to it. It's pretty much a kick down the door style of introduction to the Creature Commandos, and it has me curious what the rest of the book is going to look like. It is good so far for an intro issue. And let me just finish this little review for that issue up by saying, poor Lucky. 8 out of 10. Plastic Man No More #2, 9 out of 10. This is the best issue that I read all week. This story is something else, man. The art aims to be kind of the lighthearted variety, I guess. Not super modern, more classic, more cartoony looking. But I have a feeling that if they didn't have this series might be too much for some people. It is an absolutely amazing story, and Christ, just crushingly heartbreaking. I cannot recommend Plastic Man No More enough. 9 out of 10 for that one. The Nice House by the Sea #3, 8.5 out of 10. Man, oh man, all I can tell you is how good this is, because if you aren't reading it, you wouldn't understand what's going on. But seriously, like if you like horror, if you like mystery, grab up the first series, Nice House by the Lake, and then move on to this one. You won't be disappointed. Nice House by the Sea is awesome. Every issue leaves you hungry for more. This is the third one, and I'm dying for the next one every single time. Phone call to Walter placed on hold, please. My adventures, Walter. My Adventures with Superman #5, 8 out of 10. I cannot believe how good a cartoon tie-in book can be on the regular. This one is good. Really good. It gets into some stuff that I never would have saw coming. You guys should definitely be checking that one out. Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries #10. And Dash is grading these for me. He gave that one a 4 out of 5. He liked it because he thought it was scary. And Scooby-Doo Where Are You #130. He thought it was kind of boring, only liked the backup, and gave it a 3 out of 5. And those are all the honorables worth mentioning.
The interesting, a boring book is a 3 out of 5.
What's that?
That's interesting. A boring book gets a 3 out of 5.
I guess he grades shit like you guys do.
It's a shame you weren't here last week for the honorables, because I really wanted to know what you, and I have it here specifically to ask this question, but I really wanted to know what you thought about this one.
Oh yeah, Lobo.
This issue. Yeah. Which we only briefly got to talk about last time.
It's very telling.
Yeah.
So I read that I read it the day that I was waiting and got that kind of nerve-wracking news. I appreciated it a little bit more than I probably should have. I want to... Okay, if I go back to my mindset then, I would probably have graded it like a 7.5 out of 10. I'm going to say a little bit less now if I'm remembering correctly. But if I want to give you an honest answer, I'm going to have to go back and reread it again, because that was a hell of a day.
No, it's I don't know. I thought it was a really funny concept. And the art is like, it's so perfect for this book. Kyle Hotz is great.
Yes, the art is awesome. And I will get back to you on that one. I should just do that now. have either of you guys Have either of you guys read My Adventures with Superman or Creature Commandos yet?
No.
No.
Oh, you guys are missing out, man.
I'm gonna check out Creature Commandos. I'm not like overly sold on My Adventures with Superman. Not that I think it's a bad product, it's just not vibing with me.
Mm.
Like I watched the
Yeah,
first episode,
same
and it was
way.
like it's okay. Like it's
Yeah,
interesting. I don't think
fun.
it's really
I don't know.
really for me though.
It needed the Superman the animated series effect, and it just doesn't have that for me. Maybe that's
Yeah.
nostalgia talking, but
Yeah.
you watch that first episode and it's like, oh, it's yeah. Oh, and it's
Yeah.
like a 3-part episode too, so it's even better.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just wasn't really feeling it
Yeah.
the same way, but it's probably
I
just
think-
nostalgia.
I think I'm just over young Superman. Like at this point, I've been reading adult Superman.
What? Because you're
Kid.
old.
I mean, that might have something to do with it.
Said, not my Superman.
I've been reading adult Superman with a kid, hell, a teenager, for so many years now, and I love that aspect. To know that this 85-year-old character has grown up a bit. The last thing I'd want to do now is go back and read or watch a Superman that's new to the game again. You know, like he's like what 22 or something. It feels like. He's just meeting Lois and Jimmy. I'm just like, yeah, that's cool, but like I've seen it so many times. I'm ready for like grown-up Superman who's been around the bar a bit. You know.
Yeah.
Give the first few issues a try. I will tell you, obviously, My Adventures with Superman the series is the exact same character and premise of My Adventures with Superman the animated show. However, the comic books are a little bit more grown up, and number 5 just it really shocked me how good this was, because this wasn't just. This was a book that it's got me wanting to read number 6. It isn't just oh, look what's out again this month, which, I mean, it has been so far. But this one is like, holy shit, I need number 6. It's gotten pretty good.
Yeah.
And Creature Commandos is
Don't give it a shot.
poor Lucky. Poor Lucky.
Who's writing Creature Commandos?
Oh, geez.
Some actor, right?
It's yeah.
That's why I was kind of, I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's
But,
good, like the Great Sergeant Rock series, but sometimes I see that and I'm like, I know they have some TV show coming out, and the actor's probably in that TV show, and I don't know. I just wanted. Was it too much to ask for another Frankenstein Agent of Shade?
Right.
It is
Really? Like, help a brother out. Come on.
It's David Dasmalchian.
Oh, okay. I had a feeling you were going to say David Desmalchian. Yes. So, okay, that got me a little more excited actually, because he definitely knows this stuff.
He's a total freaking comic book nerd.
Yeah. Like, if I get what you're saying, Brandon, and I 100% agree, but we might not be disappointed with this at all if David Desmalchian is writing it.
And let me tell you this, and I don't know, that man, I've seen in an interview, I think that he said when he found out he was going to have the chance to play Polka Dot Man, he almost wet himself.
Yeah. He made Polka
Was
Dot Man
so
cool.
excited.
Which was unprecedented.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I'd be down.
Yeah.
If somebody is that big of a comic book nerd to play something like Polka Dot Man, then, I mean, at least have a little bit of faith in the product going into it, as opposed to, somebody who played the Riddler and then decided he was going to write a book about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Bruce Campbell
Yuck.
writing Sergeant Rock, I want to say that was like a passion project.
Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
that was well, but he'd actually, I knew he could write a comic, and I'd actually forgotten. I know when we did the review, I was like, whoa, he can write it. But yeah, he did, he co-wrote the Man with the Screaming Brain comic.
Wait, there was a
like
comic?
tie-in. Yeah. Man with a
Holy
Screaming Brain
shit.
comic. Him and Rick Remender did it with.
Remender,
I
yeah.
want to say it was Tony Moore
Menda?
doing art. This is like 2006, 2005.
Damn, I gotta find that.
Yeah,
You
it was pretty
Menda?
good actually. And I read that before I even knew there was a movie. So crazy, right?
And the movie was wild.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Classic
that's
B
one way of
horror.
putting it.
And I think he wrote an Army of Darkness miniseries.
Yes.
Co-wrote.
Or wait, hold on. Comic.
I could be wrong. I vaguely remember Bruce Campbell writing an Army of Darkness mini for some kind
I
of
was trying to remember if he wrote the Ash versus the Evil Dead on IDEW or not, but I can't remember.
That's probably what I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
It's trade now, Man with the Screaming Brain. Oh man. Okay, this is wild because I actually remember this cover.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Damn. Wonder if my dad had this. Because he had the DVD that we watched it together.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Could be somewhere in the collection.
Yeah. Okay, I definitely have to check this out. Hell yeah. I think next time the three of us have a bit of free time, if y'all are interested, get Isaiah and just do a Bruce Campbell watch-a-thon.
Oh yeah, I'd love to watch Evil Dead again. It's been too long.
Watch Evil. At least Army of Darkness, because there's so many great lines in that movie. Man with the Screaming Brain, Bubba Hotep, They Call Me Bruce.
Oh man,
so
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
I
didn't realize he was. I didn't realize he was the mayor in that until like probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, that sounds so familiar. What the,
And then we can like fan write our own script for Spider-Man 4 where he's revealed to be Mysterio.
Yeah, all this time.
I'm sure that exists on Reddit already.
I think that was. It's rumored that I think was initially the plan.
Sweet.
And that's why he was in like those 3 movies in 3 entirely different roles.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I happen to have everything Bruce Campbell has ever done.
Oh hell yeah.
And like just maybe the world's biggest horror B-movie collection ever. So I mean, I'm down for any kind of Halloween watch party because I've got everything from the top of the line stuff that everybody's heard all the way back to things like Night of the Lepus. So I mean,
holy shit.
My friend, I invite you to look it up. It is
Night of the Lepus. Lepus.
Yep. It is really bad.
It sounds bad.
It's almost as bad as Mansquito.
I'm sure it's terrible, but that is a great title. I can't lie.
The Mansquito, yeah. Mansquito versus Sharknado. DeForest Kelly? Hell yeah.
What?
He's in Night of the Lepus.
That's depressing.
I
guess those Star Trek royalty checks were not as profitable in the later years.
It was just a downhill spiral after Star Trek ended. Let's face it. There's only 3 people made out of Star Trek with a good career, and that was Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner, and
George Takei.
George Takei. Thank you.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember his fucking name.
God. You said, hold on. You said who now?
William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, and George Takei. Made it out of there with like decent careers, like good
careers
like,
outside of Star
careers.
Trek. Well,
yeah,
and sometimes going because like a lot of them were still going to conventions and stuff and doing guest appearances.
But like those three went on to do other projects that made names for them as well.
Really?
TJ Hooker.
Right. I mean, TJ Hooker, really? Are we calling that?
I'm not saying everything they did was amazing, but like they did other notable projects. The fact of the matter is, TJ Hooker. Like, can you tell me anything else Nichelle Nichols did off the top of your head? That's what I thought.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
But I feel like I only know TJ Hooker because people were making comments like, did Shatner ever do anything else besides Star Trek? And they're like, well, he was on that cop show.
Yeah.
I think he was in a couple of episodes of like The Outer Limits or Twilight Zone before Star Trek.
Yeah. He had a cop show in the 90s too, but I can't remember what, or maybe it was 2000s.
He's got an Unsolved Mysteries style TV show that's out now.
Oh, is that like the Unexplained or whatever the hell it's called?
Yep, that's what it is. Yeah,
Unexplained.
And I swear to God, when they hired him, have you ever seen the show?
No,
because it's like they hired him and said it was like Mr. Shatner, excuse me, but we were wondering what it might look like on screen if you were to do an impression of William Shatner. That's
I think at this point,
what this comes across at.
He's so far into that style of speaking that it's just who he is at this point.
Yeah.
Or at least when he's acting. I don't know what he's like in a casual set, like in an interview or something.
He definitely has it amped up. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
For sure.
Which is funny because I feel like those mannerisms didn't manifest until after the end of the original series. You really only see it in heavy duty in the Star Trek movies. That's when it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Especially the first two Star Trek movies. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's really good, but it's just like, every line. Like Spock shows up in Star Trek the Motion Picture and he's like, Spock. I'm like, oh my God, just say the line. Just calm down and say the line.
Spock, you are my greatest friend.
My favorite is when, what is it, like Decker has a moment where he's right about something, some kind of scientific thing, and he points at him, and I'll find the clip online because it still makes me laugh, and he's like, yes, it is. Why did you say it like that? That was so weird. Just say the line like a normal person.
Because I think at this point, like, when did the first motion picture was 1979? Okay.
Yeah.
It had been 10 years since Star Trek ended. I think he kind of just forgot how to play Captain Kirk.
Maybe.
Because it wasn't until after that he did TJ Hooker. I don't know what he was doing between that.
Nothing. Royalty checks.
Maybe like he was acting on stage or he's doing parts.
He did the animated series, and maybe he was being animated Kirk. Because animated Kirk was a little candid.
He was being a little too animated in the movies. I'll tell you that.
I feel like people were doing impressions of him, exaggerating it, and he just rolled with that exaggeration because he thought it sounded good. He's like, oh my God, they love me.
Maybe.
Or, I mean, oh my God, they love me.
Love me.
That's bad. That's bad.
Now what? You gotta wonder what.
For the record, I love like the first three Star Trek movies. It's not a diss. It just sometimes he says things and it makes me bust out laughing.
So what came first, the overacting or the spoken word singing?
I feel like he was always doing spoken word singing. He's probably been doing that since the 1950s.
Yeah.
Which,
Absolutely zero doubt about that. Like he'll never admit it, but he used to hang out in like
In like
the
beat
OG
clubs.
beat clubs, listening
clubs
to
in
OG slam poetry and shit.
That's exactly what I was. That's probably where it came from, and it's just like, well, the Star Trek fame is giving me the free reign to make an album of spoken word, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna do it.
With a real Slim Shady, please stand up.
Oh God,
Please stand up. Please stand up.
I love you, Bill, but
Please stand up.
sometimes it's a little too much.
But Josh, have you gotten to that episode of Futurama yet?
That's a little too much. I don't know if I should talk to you about Futurama or not.
Oh no, what? No.
You
Why?
told me that I wouldn't be human.
What is
that
it?
I'm not human if there an episode. Oh crap! I'm gonna cough. Hold on.
Wait, you're at season 4 already? I had a feeling I played it up too much.
No, you said that I'm an animal lover, and it's either at the end of season 1 or the beginning of season 2 where there's an animal, something or other, and it's definitely gonna make me bawl. It made you bawl. It should make me bawl if I'm an animal lover. And I watched it and had zero emotional response other than just laughing.
Wait, hang on. The episode I'm talking about is in season 4. So what episode are you talking about?
Are you talking about the Fry's dog episode? I can't remember his name.
I'm talking about Fry's dog. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know. There was some kind of weird ass little animal or pet or some shit on there. Kind of looked.
You're
like
talking about Nibbler.
I'm not a
Nibbler.
Nibbler.
Was it? When did Nibbler
I don't
show
know.
up?
Hold on.
The Nibbler showed up in like the first few episodes, like episode 5 or something like that. He was early on.
I don't know. Something that was
actually
like got into the ship or some shit. I don't know.
I will. This is mild spoilers. I don't know where you are in the series, Josh, but like eagle-eyed viewers will tell you Nibbler was in the first episode.
3?
Really? Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Or what? It might have just been his race of. I can't. I gotta rewatch Futurama. It's been too long.
Yeah.
I'm starting to forget stuff.
Wait, so you're starting season 3, Josh?
I want to say we're just about to start season 3. Yeah.
Okay. Have you been to the episode with the brains?
I don't think so.
That's the Star Trek episode.
Well, no, that's not that one. The brain episode is where some shit with Nibbler goes down.
Yeah. And it's because Fry doesn't have the Delta Wave that he's able to fight for them.
Yeah.
But that has to be later, because that has to be after the Roswell episode. And that's like, I don't remember what season that is.
I don't remember what the timeline of that is. I do know the Star Trek episode is later on, maybe like season 3 or 4. But there is a Star Trek episode, Josh. You will fucking love it. It is hilarious. And the original cast all come out and voice themselves.
I did not realize that episode in and of itself, like the whole concept of the episode, is inspired by an episode of Star Trek until years later actually watching Star Trek, which I thought was crazy.
It was fantastic. And it's all like framed and shot, I guess, like drawn as a Star Trek episode too.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
That episode, you could watch it tonight and you won't like get spoiled by anything because it's really a standalone episode. And does not get mentioned again because it kind of gets ignored later on. Yeah, it's easily one of the best episodes.
It's still to this day, the funniest thing about that episode is the idea that at some point in the future there will be a religion of Star Trek, which
that
doesn't seem very likely now, but it's still is something that I'm like, I don't know, maybe one of these days if someone's crazy enough.
Somebody needs to start it.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I am in the middle of. Oh no! Okay. No, I'm not on season 3 yet.
Oh, okay.
I just finished the one about the Deep South.
But what?
It's called the Deep South, season
Oh,
2,
Is
episode
that
12.
the
Sunken City of Atlantis.
Yeah, the city of
Yeah.
Atlanta.
the lost city of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Man, I
how
always
does this
knew
work?
fucking
Well,
Coca.
I lay my eggs and then I leave and you fertilize them.
Yeah,
Oh, thank
man,
you.
I always knew
Wrong.
Coke would do weird shit to your body, but nothing like that. If you drank enough of it for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah. I always forget like what it was that made them mutate into mermaids.
Oh man, that's why I love Futurama.
Yeah. Give me one of my favorite lines of all time. Look at me, I'm Zoidberg, homeowner.
It's just a fucking shell.
And then it burns down at the end.
It burns down.
That raises even more questions.
It burns down under the ocean. Oh God.
My man witch.
Man.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, Josh.
Quite all right. Quite all right. But
Do you
I
have a
suppose
favorite line so far? Before we move on, do you have a favorite Futurama line or moment so far? 2 seasons deep.
Oh, no, probably not. Not yet.
Nah.
I think, are there any? I mean, I can't even really remember all the episodes. I'd have to look at them because I don't remember. I can remember episodes, but I can't remember which season they were in.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you which is which, but I remember so many like hilarious moments from that show.
Yeah,
like
Remember
the
the-
shell burning down or the worms.
Oh well,
in Fry's
I remember
stomach.
the episode that definitely sold. I mean, the pilot is great, but the Luna Park episode
Yeah.
was, for some reason, it just that was
We're
like, all
whalers
right,
on the moon.
our harpoon.
And Fry's like ecstatic to be on the moon. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is so cool.
And he's like-
jump around the moon. I was
Yeah.
like, this is fucking boring. Let's go home.
He's like he sees the fucking guy who's like bang zoom straight to the moon. He's
To
like,
the moon.
they didn't say that. It's like
Just a metaphor for beating his wife. Oh god. World's first astronomers. Just one of these days, Alice. Bang. Boom.
Bang, zoom
Straight
straight
to
to the moon. Oh man.
Oh, so
Ah.
good. So
Yeah,
good.
I gotta look back and see what else was in season 1.
I guess
Uh,
probably my favorite one so far would have to be the Xmas episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
Santa.
Oh my god, Robot Santa,
Yeah.
best recurring character.
Quick, seal the door. Why? I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Oh shit. He becomes a semi-recurring character. Josh.
Yeah, I love how everyone was on the naughty list except Zoidberg, and he shows up and he's like, "Fuck you, Zoidberg. Here you go. Here's this pogo stick."
Oh god.
Oh
That
man.
was so good. Fry trying to get that damn bird.
It mystifies me.
The clock at the tower is digital. It's the whole time.
Oh yeah, yeah. It changes any fault. Yep.
Oh,
How do you guys remember? How many times on average would you say you have seen each episode of
There's a period where I was rewatching it a lot. It's been years,
First
but
seasons, maybe like 4
Yeah.
or 5 times.
yeah.
I have it on DVD too. Like, oh, so good. I'm not joking when I say it might
so
be
many times.
the greatest cartoon of all time.
Yeah, I don't know. It was always one that I felt like I could go back to and enjoy.
Yeah, like
And I enjoy it more than The
there's-
Simpsons, which maybe that's a controversial take. I don't know, but
I don't blame you there. Like, because for me, it's the humor is almost timeless because it's set in the future, and there are occasionally dated jokes, but they're so rare because the humor is so quote unquote ahead of its time, really.
yeah. And it's just absurd. I don't know.
Yeah.
That for me was what was always the funny thing. It's just
Yeah,
you could point to an episode of Futurama and it's like the most ridiculous concept.
yeah.
Or it's I think the last one I rewatched was Bender participates in the Robo Olympics, but he's like he's scared of participating in the bending competition because all of them are like super strong. So he's like, well, I'll just do it in the Fembot competition. So he gets he gets an oil change so he can change his. It's like, I haven't even gotten the best part. It's like he gets the oil change, so he becomes a fembot and he wins, and then he starts falling in love with Calculon.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, that's what I mean. It's every episode. It's just you could point to it and you're like, this is the most ridiculous concept, but it's great.
When
I think the one that the episode I probably rewatched the most was when the Planet Express ship goes full 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, which?
It's like they have the onboard AI for the Planet Express ship. Bender sleeps with them. Oh man, I've seen that episode so many times.
Look, Bender, 10 years.
He's like,
oh my god. So
I'm going to be completely honest with you, Planet Express ship. Those women, they were my accountants. Okay, I believe you. I'll see you at home.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And then, my favorite line is there's like Leela's like, you have to find out that happiness comes from within you, and she's like, but Bender is within me. Oh man.
Fry's like 2 a.m, gets a ring at the doorbell, he opens the window, the ship just floating there. Oh hi Fry. Is Bender home? Oh hi Planet Express ship. Oh my god.
Oh man. Okay, we're getting lost in the sauce.
Last one I'll mention is the Poplars. Poplars.
Yes.
And Birds Ball. Jackie Robinson. Leela and the bean counters.
All right. It's before we lose absolute
I'm
control of the show. It is time for Rob to talk to us about Absolute Power.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Let's focus up.
See, that's the glory, Josh. You just have to say like certain words, and Futurama fans will burst out laughing. Okay. Compose. Okay, so this is Absolute Power, issue 4. I should do a Futurama podcast. Fuck. This is written by Mark Waid with art from Dan Mora, colors from Alejandro Sanchez, and letters from Ariana Maher. So we are not quite picking up where we left off last issue, but picking up where we left off in a whole bunch of last issues. As all the tie-ins have now culminated into this last issue of the series, and we pick up with Oliver Queen and Amanda Waller having a bit of an argument where Amanda Waller promptly slaps Ollie right in the face because he's exactly. He is not the mom.
That's what I said. That's why I said it.
Yeah, he's telling her all the shit that's going on and all the stuff that's going down, and reminding her that shit is going haywire. And like, if he knows his old pals, they're coming right there, and they're probably gonna, like, him and Waller are probably gonna lose. Meanwhile, in the Supermax prison, the last of the heroes have been transported into the Shadow Realm. What was it called again? The Darklands?
Yeah, Shadowlands, I think, or Shadow
Shadowlands.
Paths.
They're in the Shadow Realm. They were
Or
The
Sent
Dark
by
Roads.
Yami Yugi.
They're the Dark Roads. Just
Okay, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
I think I prefer the Shadow Realm, but
That's a different place.
Are you doing a Yu-Gi-Oh reference?
Yes.
Yes, the Shadow Realm is in a different place.
Yes. It's in the heart of the cards. Anyway,
It's in-
so all the heroes are in the Dark Roads, which, to the surprise of no one, you can't see a damn thing. It's really dark. I don't know. That's when that portal closes, they're not going to be able to see 2 feet in front of them. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I digress. So they all gather around and try to formulate a plan as best they can. Nightwing is the one with that plan, and everybody's splitting up into various groups, with the biggest team, the main team, heading with Nightwing, straight to the front door of the Supermax prison. Or at least Gamora. Gamora. Every time I say Gamora, I'm thinking Guardians of the Galaxy. Waller's Gamora home base. They head in, and while most of them don't have power still, they are equipped with various weapons. Just like the weapons that the Argus army are equipped with, that are various weapons that were taken from the Hall of Justice that the League once had, but they were tampered with prior to Amanda Waller's army taking control of them. So as the army begins to use them, they instead get electrocuted, and the weapons are useless, which gives the heroes just the upper hand they need to fight against the army. Meanwhile, in the sub-basement of the Supermax prison, the Flash is up against Baroness Blitzkrieg and Thunderjolt, as well as Johnny Quick from Earth 10, Earth 13, and Earth 3, respectively. He is one of the only, if the only, speedster that has speed left, but now he's going up against 3 evil speedsters at once, and it's faring to be a bit of a tough fight. Johnny Quick is able to activate the multiversal portal to bring in a whole cacophony of evil, superpowered people from all over the multiverse. So that's leaving Barry Allen in a bit of a tight spot. Meanwhile, above ground, the heroes are doing quite swimmingly, I might add, against the various forces. But it is a losing battle on various fronts, depending on where the heroes are and who has powers or not. Sometimes the fight is being won, sometimes it's being lost. It's a hard-fought battle either way. Green Lantern is able to escape and get inside the prison, and is able to help Barry Allen by holding the doorway to the portal shut. But his willpower is only so strong, as a lot of these superpowered people are thumping at the barrier as hard as they can. He keeps calling that his willpower is only so strong, but this is when various other speedsters show up. Even though they don't have powers, they're helping by adding their own willpower to Hal's, and they're able to supercharge the green energy and hold the door steady once more. Meanwhile, the Amazos, Task Force 7, have shown up, all except for, I can't remember his name, the Green Lantern one. And Failsafe.
Jade Stone?
Jade Stone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So 5 of them have shown up and are about ready to take out the heroes. Toot sweet. But this is also when Batman's plan has come into play, thanks to I can't even find the fucking page that is on. Right, thanks to John Starr and Ted Cord, he's able to fashion a device that will counteract the healing abilities of the Amazos, um, which Batman had recognized the energy signature back in issue 2 from one of the Amazos, and that energy signature was John Starr's. So the healing ability that the Amazos have is actually Starr's equipment, his own technology, where it's sending the Amazos body back through time to a point where it was not damaged in the first place, back to before the fight. Quite an interesting time travel technology. So Starr is fashioning a device that will counteract that. Batman is heading there in the middle of the fight to try and attach it to just one Amazo. And when it's attached to an Amazo, it will connect wirelessly to the other Amazos through failsafe and infect them all at the same time. However, he is taken down and the device left behind. So it is picked up by none other than Oliver Queen, who attaches it to an arrow and shoots one of the Amazos right in the back of the neck, taking them all out, including Failsafe. And this also brings all the heroes their powers back, because what the device did was send all the Amazos back to before they were even booted online. So all the heroes get their powers back, with the exception of a couple where the powers ended up in the wrong body. However, that ended up, for example, Fire and Ice, their powers have swapped. Fire has ice powers and Ice has fire powers, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
That does get addressed later on, though. Amanda Waller, meanwhile, is screaming blue bloody murder as her plan is failing spectacularly. Nightwing is left standing where Failsafe, standing behind him, is losing power and losing himself. And just as Amanda Waller pulls out a gun and is about to shoot Dick Grayson, out pops Dreamer, punches Amanda Waller right in the face. Surprise, surprise, she's not actually dead. Well, I mean, she technically was, but we'll get to that. Green Arrow outside has rejoined the heroes' forces and is taking down various Gamoran and various Argus, I guess, soldiers, including the Amazos. And this is when it was revealed that Martian Manhunter had been working with Oliver the whole time, implanted a psychic block in Ollie's mind to really make him believe in Amanda Waller's plans, and it was the only way he could infiltrate safely and not be found out. And the psychic implant timed out just as he planned at a certain time, which was basically right before the battle, and that allowed him to rejoin the force of good. And that pretty much ends the battle, except for the fact that the multiversal portal is still open and the Flash cannot get it to shut off. A bunch of other heroes have joined in now to do what they can to help stop it. Barry has figured out how to turn it off, but if he does, they will be cut off from the multiverse permanently, and it'll shut down any connection at all. And since it's the only option they have, he goes ahead and does it, and the the machine explodes as well as the portal, and that saves the day there. Meanwhile, Amanda Waller in front of Nightwing is doing her own little villain monologue and screaming about how the powers are back, but what are you going to do with them, and talking about protecting people and all the shit she did against the heroes to basically say that she had won. And what?
As I just we were talking. Keep going. I don't want to distract you
afterwards.
All right. That she had still won, despite the fact that the heroes have won the day, but the people of Earth still think the heroes are a little bit too much. But this is when Nightwing reveals his own right hand ace up his sleeve, and man right now is Airwave, whose suit had been upgraded a little bit by Mr. Terrific, and he's able to broadcast every bit of conversation they had to every device across the world. So the entire planet saw Amanda Waller's little spasm there, and that ended the battle for good. 48 hours later, various heroes are helping to rebuild the Fortress of Solitude, and the Flashes are having a little bit of discussion about how the vibrational access to the multiverse is gone, as well as Barry Allen has lost his powers when he destroyed the machine. It took those with it. He does not know why or how, but they are gone, leaving him just a regular old human. Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, meanwhile, get a little bit of communication saying they need to meet with a mystery person at the old place. And they also mentioned Waller, who elsewhere was found out that she's been locked up in Belle Reve, and has a bit of a discussion with Dreamer, who revealed that she might have actually died at the time, but because John Kent was dreaming of her so hard when he was under the control of the Brainiac Queen, he basically dreamed her back to life.
Dream
and through that, she was able to dream portal herself out of his mind and into the real world. So then the Trinity arrived back at the original Justice League headquarters in the mountain base, which that's what I was thinking was Challenger Mountain, but now I'm not so sure. And it is none other than Oliver Queen, who is there to just have a little discussion with the three of them. Superman starts off about all the heroes that were injured. Batman continues about the powers that have been swapped, and some are nowhere to be found still. And as Wonder Woman continues with a third point, it is all they can do to resist the urge to break his arms. And whether it was sabotage or not, they did get a little blindsided with his undercover stunt. But this is when he reveals that, yes, it was all me, but I do apologize, and I did it for the great purposes, but at the same time, this also revealed a little bit of a problem with what we have going on, that while the Titans are doing some good work, none of this would have happened if the Justice League was still in play. So maybe we should talk about that. And this is when Batman says, we have something to show you, and shows off a new Justice League satellite. And this will be continued in All In Special number 1 and Justice League Unlimited. Thus ends Absolute Power.
Sweet.
Absolutely does, man.
Hell yeah.
I mean, so a lot of stuff
Are
happened.
you showing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Animal Man is okay. That's cool. Red Tornado might be dead.
Which is good. Red
That's
Tornado
not.
is not. That's not okay. Yeah.
Plastic
I
Man
begin
can
with
turn
this?
invisible, and Black Canary has heat vision.
Yeah. Like
Weird
there's
stuff.
going to be some interesting stuff going on.
He's
for
not
the
even
future.
Plastic Man anymore. He's Invisible Man. Wait.
Yeah.
Tupperware.
Wait.
He's the Invisible Man. Dude.
If he doesn't get bandaged, like,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Then he's going to look too much like Negative Man.
Yeah, I think Doom
can't do
Patrol's
that.
going to
I
sue.
get confused. Yeah.
No, I mean
Um,
Doom Patrol's not interested in joining the Justice League anyway.
No, which we will find out in our next book.
So we will.
But I don't know, for this one, it kind of wraps it up quite nicely. I would say it was a nice little ending. Everything came to a close, and it had some nice twists near the end. It was one big battle, and it was pretty much exactly what you'd expect. Complete with some teases for what's going to happen in the future, and leading us to the next big chapter in the heroes' stories and lives. The art was quite good. The story was interesting. There was a couple of nitpicks I had, but nothing story-breaking. Like, the whole time I was thinking, that's not how lantern rings work.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say something about that.
Oh,
Which,
But
which
if
is a common thing on the Green Lantern subreddit.
I was going to say, if Batman, Superman, World's Finest is any indication, Mark Waid has a very liberal understanding of power rings.
Yeah. I mean, he's going with the Silver Age version of the ring, which
Green Lantern
actually
ring can do anything.
could
Yeah.
do anything. It
Yeah,
could
like
teleport you through walls. It could
turn
create
back time.
matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could shrink people, turn people invisible. Like, it could do all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
I agree with what he said, and I completely understand what he said. There's nothing like a Flash Green Lantern crossover or team up, right?
Sure.
There's nothing better than a Flash Green Lantern team up.
Yeah.
There's not.
No,
What about
there's
a
not,
Green
Josh.
Arrow Green Lantern team up?
Green Arrow,
Lantern
Green
Flash?
Lantern Flash team up usually does not go well. But
No,
No, I meant
No.
dropping the Flash.
Yeah.
Obviously, hard traveling heroes is where I was at.
yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, it sounds like DC is dropping the Flash. He doesn't have powers anymore.
oh, hey, I told you something
Dropping
big was
a
going to happen
Flash.
to the Flash family.
Yeah.
I told
Hey.
you. I warned you
Hey.
guys.
I mean, it just happened
dropping
to
a
fit.
Flash, not dropping the Flash.
There you go.
Because
Yes,
the Flash
Wally.
is Wally West.
Wally,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's J? If Wally is the Flash and Barry is a Flash, does that mean J
Wally
is what?
or
C Flash?
Jay is old.
Old Flash.
All right, we got a jokester over here.
G Flash.
G Flash.
Granddaddy
Yeah.
Flash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait. Wasn't he the DJ and
Grandmaster Flash.
Grandmaster Flash?
Yeah, Grandmaster Flash. That's just. Yes.
Yeah.
U.S. the driven snow.
Yeah. So
I
now
don't. I just can't
will-
see Jay Garrick bopping his head to white lines, though. I mean, just being honest.
You know, Jay can be hip with the times. I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
He's got a teenage daughter now. He's with
White
it.
Yeah.
lie.
I'm sure the boom was big on that. Jay maybe not so much, but he came around. He's
Yeah.
cool like that.
Pure as
He learned how to
pure
play
as
video
snow.
games with Bart. I'm sure he can appreciate some Grandmaster
Yeah.
Flash.
Jay's learning how to have Riz.
Oh God, we're gonna get into that later.
Stop.
Oh God.
just don't.
Just stop.
Oh God. Stop.
All right, I'm going to give it, and I honestly don't know how to score it because it was kind of satisfying, but like, I just don't know how to score it. I will give it 8.75 out of 10. It's quite enjoyable.
Nice. I'm very close. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Dan Moore knocks it out of the park. How great is that double page spread of all the heroes getting their powers back, and the way Superman confidently is like, I'm back. Oh, it's so good.
Feels so good.
Yeah, but I definitely agree. I mean, it is a very solid, effective ending. It's not perfect because I don't know. I don't want to say it's rushed because it really isn't. Like, it built towards
it's
it.
not. Yeah.
But it's something. There was something about it that felt a little immediate in a way. Yeah, maybe it
like
was
missing something.
Honestly, yes. I think it's my fault and not Mark Waid's fault because they were teasing the whole Commander Star is it Commander Star? I think that's his name. John Star, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
They were teasing like what his whole plot thing was going to be and how that might get the heroes their power back. And like I knew it was building towards something, but I couldn't see the full picture. And then I just kind of dropped it in this issue. And something about that felt immediate, like the idea that, you can just turn it back, like turn back time, and it'll be before they have their powers and everything will be fine. And to the story's credit, they built towards it, but maybe I didn't see what it was because I didn't know the character that well, that I didn't really get it, and I couldn't theorize what that plot was going to be, and therefore the whole returning of their powers seemed immediate. But aside from that, I felt like it did a fairly effective job in wrapping things up. Especially the bit with Dreamer, which I was kind of fucked. A lot darker than I was expecting it to be, but it felt right. And then the moment at the end with Ollie really solidified, I think, the ending for me, in that hopefully Ollie has a bigger place. This almost feels like what Bendis was trying to do with Ollie bankrolling the Justice League, but better in the sense that he'll have a more active role in really rallying behind the Justice League and making sure that people are communicating again. But yeah, the whole moment at the end of him kind of talking with the Trinity and, I mean, admitting his mistake, but also kind of standing his ground. I was like, yeah, this is great. And I'm excited to see where the future of the Justice League is going. So a lot of great moments. Like I said, a little bit immediate in the way that the whole powers thing was resolved. But aside from that, I have no major complaints. Kind of just, it was a very solid home run of an ending.
Right on. I have one question before we continue. Is in, I want to say it was issue 2, Barry Allen got that kind of mysterious communication from somebody. Said you need to go here and do this and see this, but that was never revealed who it was.
My guess is probably Ollie, because that's the only person who would know, you know, and would be in contact with the heroes, or would have a way to contact the heroes. And I don't know. Maybe was it not revealed? For some reason, I feel like it was, but
it could have been, but I don't remember what it was or when it happened, right?
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Pretty sure that was Ollie. And,
it would make sense.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of right there with you. There's a bunch of interesting stuff like the mixed up powers that I'd like to see addressed. Find out what's going on with that. The JL Watchtower is back again, or here again for the first time. It's one of those three. I can't really tell. The way that Ollie reacts to seeing the hologram projected up there, it feels like he's seeing something for the first time, but design definitely looks familiar to me. I'm with you. The Absolute Power event was good. Just it does feel like there was something that was lacking. I couldn't tell you what the hell that something was, but it just this ending felt a little diet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. 80%.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
80% lean, 20% fat. Or maybe 80% fat, 20% lean. I don't know.
I think it's supposed to go the other way.
Depends on how you like your beef or your chicken.
That's not you're right. It's better than I thought it would be, for sure. The John Kent stuff is the only thing that I was completely about, because it just didn't make any sense. But my big takeaways, other than the obvious, like the mix-up of the powers, is what happened to Jadestone? That gives me a question mark, because was he an Amazo? Yes. But was he perfectly linked up with Failsafe? I don't think so. I think that he was able to sever that connection from Failsafe, if I'm not mistaken.
That's quite possible.
Which means that we could have Jadestone as an Amazo being a guardian of the new Green Lantern cave base on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but that I don't really see how that would make sense, because a lot of his power was derived from the Starheart. So if we're assuming that all the powers did return, and they turned back time to a moment before those powers emerged, in theory, not only would Jadestone lose all of that identity, but those powers would have just gone back to the Starheart, if not somewhere else.
But my thing is that if he severed the connection to Failsafe, then that reset would not have affected him.
Yeah.
I mean, well, no, because it wasn't. What did Star say? It's not his connection to Failsafe. It was whatever device he had that allowed them to turn back time to heal their wounds. It was connected to all of them, so it should have turned it back, regardless of if he was connected to Failsafe's control.
Right.
Okay, the way that I was taking it is that each Amazo had one of those devices in themselves, not that just Failsafe had one. That each Amazo
no, that's my point. They did, but it was linked. They're all linked, right? So what Star said is that if you damage one of them, it affects all of them.
but it affects all of
That's the
them
point.
because
No, not
failsafe
because
was
no,
the
it's
hub.
no, that's
Right?
yeah, that's the thing. It's not because failsafe is the hub. It's just because those whatever that device is called. It's because those are connected. That's part of the design.
This is so dumb, but if I'm remembering correctly, I think that device is actually called a reversometer.
The reversal meter was
Maybe?
The Metal Men.
No, that's
I am-
responsometer.
That's
Oh,
responsometer, and that's
Yeah, I
thanks Didio, but
well, that's just Metal Man mythology. But anyway.
yeah. All right. Anyway, other than that, the Jade Stone stuff, I think it was an okay wrap up for the story. It looked fucking great. Of course it did. I gave it an 8.25 out of 10. Oh, and
Awesome.
I didn't
Right
even.
on. They had the cover up for a while.
Okay, I don't know what happened there. Guess what we've got next?
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, I have a
about to
question
dive all in.
for you, Brandon. Which
Yes,
order are you going in?
that's a great question. I was going to
forgot
ask
was
about
two
this
stories.
because yeah, I did not read this digitally. I read this in print.
Alpha and
So
then
my-
Omega, I would assume.
Yeah, so my experience was a little different in that I don't know if it shows on the digital version, but if you blow up my screen, you can see if you buy, just the print version, you get the regular cover,
Yeah.
but when you flip it over,
Yeah, you
it
get the
starts
other one.
that same thing. So I don't know
It's a
how
flip
the
book.
experience is digitally, but yeah, it's a flip
It-
book basically. and they
The digital
coincide in
starts
the middle.
with digital starts with the Justice League story and then goes into the Darkseid story.
Okay, and then what about
Yeah.
the page where they overlap, the to be continued page?
It's
That
actually
it's-
repeated.
Yeah,
Oh.
but it's
Oh,
flipped
that's weird.
depending on the story,
Huh? Okay,
right?
So I would
the
just
Booster
read
Gold story
Alpha
was
and then
1A,
Omega.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, okay. Well, let's start with the alpha. But before we do that, I guess I should read out the credits. So the DC AllInSpecial was written both Alpha and Omega by Joshua Williamson and Scott Snyder, or Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson if you're looking at the Omega side, with art from Daniel Sampere and Wes Craig on the Omega side, with Dan Mora also providing the center spread that connects the two stories together. Alejandro Sanchez coloring the the Daniel Sampere pages, and Mike Spicer coloring the Wes Craig pages, and Steve Wands lettering the whole thing, and both covers are done by Daniel Sampere.
And interestingly, the Alpha special is written by Joshua Williamson and Scott Snyder, but the Omega special is written by Scott Snyder and Joshua
I
Williamson.
just said that.
I might have
Yeah.
missed that. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's what I just said. Oh man,
I
it's
might
all
have missed
good.
that.
That's
I
so
just,
weird.
Yeah.
as you were saying, I was like, "Oh man, that's
Oh my
hilarious."
God.
I completely missed you said that, but I
Yeah.
I
Well-
love that little aspect of it.
But the reason I mentioned that was because I think you kind of get the sense of who was taking the lead writing with both stories, or at least I did, because their styles are very apparent. But our story begins 52 days later after the events of Absolute Power, with Superman narrating that they had started with an idea that then grew into... I was going to try and do an Avengers, Hickman Avengers thing, but I couldn't think of a way to do it. Because they say the same thing. Anyway. It started with an idea that then grew into this grand plan with contributions from everyone in the superhero community, including all the industries, Wayne Tech Industries, Queen Industries, Terrific Tech, alien technology from Superman and the Green Lanterns and all that, and Wonder Woman, as well as other mystical heroes, imbuing blessing upon this special item before Superman made his plan to distribute, yes, you guessed it, because they've been putting preview art of this all over the place. It's Justice League membership cards that Superman is now distributing to pretty much every hero in the DC universe. Some gratefully accept, some are a little skeptical about doing it, some just flat out deny it. I love you, Damien, but come on, man. You should be. You should be taking that card.
Bro,
What's wrong with you?
I about died when mine came in the mail when I was a
Yeah.
kid. You guys are too young to remember that shit, but you used to be able to send in money and have them send you a little wallet identification card as a member of the Justice League. And oh man, I miss that thing so much. I wish I still had it. I used to be a
And yours
registered
was-
superhero.
Yours was also imbued with magic and Kryptonian technology and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, it was never explicitly stated, but I'm sure that would have, you know, then you got to worry about FCC regulations and all
Sure,
of that.
sure,
I think
sure,
it just was
sure.
off label.
I got you.
Right.
I mean, they wouldn't have charged me money just for a hunk of junk.
Yeah, no. Who would do that?
Oh,
That would be like a scam or something.
Yeah.
The Justice League doesn't scam people.
Absolutely not.
yeah.
But speaking of people who do not scam, at least usually, we cut to Booster Gold providing heroics in a burning building, saving some people and taking a selfie. But Booster is kind of different in this appearance in that he's not as glory hogging as we've seen him in moments of the past. I kind of forget the character arc he went through in Blue and Gold, so I don't remember if he was past the point of, you know, worrying about social media. But
No, he
at
didn't
least in this
end it.
appearance, he's more focused on just kind of doing heroics before turning to Skeets as they fly off, and wondering if maybe it's time to head back to. But before he finishes that, he's cut off by Superman, who appears and wants to just show appreciation for Michael's great work in the burning building. And Michael's, of course, humble, but really Superman is here to personally hand over the Justice League membership card. And of course, Booster Gold is all smiles as he realizes that it's finally come, but it's bigger than Superman even realizes because, of course, as we all know, Booster's from the future and came to the past to try and make up for his sins in the future and all that stuff. But what they did not realize, or at least something that Booster had not mentioned, was that when he was working in the museum, he saw a card, this very card, that commemorated this moment, a moment of great unity and peace. And so this is kind of Booster saying that we've finally come to that moment. The time has arrived where the Justice League is back together again, and this great era of peace and unity is soon to be upon us. Superman, of course, is all smiles and basically tells Booster that they've got a meeting coming up on the new satellite, and of course, don't be late. So we segue over to the new Justice League Watchtower, where pretty much every hero under the sun has made their way over there, and we get a little bit of a preview as to what this new Watchtower looks like, where the greatest minds in the universe have contributed to it. Got magic and science fueling the dang thing, as well as communications orchestrated by Oracle, and of course the Question heading security. But really, this whole thing is more of a welcoming ceremony for all the heroes invited to join the Justice League. And of course, Booster arrives late. What do you expect? But just as he gets there and Mr. Terrific is saluting the future that awaits the Justice League, something weird happens, and we get a weird flash from the Justice League membership card, as well as a bunch of magic users and people connected to, I guess also the emotional spectrum, because we see Hal affected as well, basically getting possessed and spewing a bunch of upside down backwards words, something connected to the Spectre and Darkseid. And that's when, of course, as you would expect, Darkseid appears with apparently the Spectre bonded to him. So the heroes are very ready and quick to respond as it looks like Darkseid is coming for a fight. But that's when they notice something about Darkseid is weird, and it's not just the fact that the Spectre is attached to him. He's kind of out of phase. It seems like he's there, but he's not quite there. So they're able to fight against him, or at least do their best. But they're really just trying to figure out a way to stall Darkseid until the magic users can find a way to separate them and basically, Zatanna is able to imbue Superman with some magic, and then once Supes is able to go straight at Darkseid, and Darkseid fires an Omega Beam, that allows him to, I guess, separate the Spectre from him, but in doing so, eradicates Darkseid from existence. Although, as we see, the effects of his Omega radiation and just presence has not quite gone away. It's like energy. It doesn't die. It just goes somewhere else. So they're trying to take stock of what else is going on, and obviously the welcoming ceremony for the Justice League is over. And that's when they decide to look into everything that basically just happened, including the rip in space-time that is now present in the Justice League Watchtower. But they call Orion to the Watchtower a little bit later just to kind of check in and see what he's heard about Darkseid. Of course, he has heard nothing, and apparently his contacts on Apokolips have also heard nothing about Darkseid. So for all they know, he's not there, and he has not returned to Apokolips. But it's Mr. Terrific who notes that the membership card that has been possessed with the Omega radiation is now functioning as a doorway, and Superman, of course, first to guess that the doorway leads to the mysterious Elseworld that we saw all the way back in Dark Knight's Death Metal, which is a comic that is 3 years old at this point, if you can believe it.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, and this strange new world, as Mr. Terrific informs them, was mostly in a primordial state when it emerged after the timeline was restored and the events of Dark Knight's Death Metal. But now, with the radiation of Darkseid infecting the world, it's basically aged up and become a lot harsher and a lot more savage. And the one thing that they know is that apparently the only people who can travel to that world are time travelers, or according to Mr. Terrific, people who have an abundance of tachyon particles. So naturally, Booster Gold steps up to the job in a very dramatic and like macho moment, trying to basically be the one who will travel to the Elseworld and see what the hell is going on. So Michael installs a tether in Skeets just to make sure that even if something goes wrong, he can get back to the Watchtower before he leaps into the tear and head straight for the Elseworld. But as he arrives, he notices that something is drastically different. For one, he is not able to get in communication with Skeets, which is bad, but also the Daily Planet has an Omega symbol on it, so clearly things are in quite a dire state. So at the very least, Booster tries to send some kind of communication back to the Watchtower, although it seems like it may have affected things, because when we go back or cut back to the Watchtower, we're at the moment before Booster left, so perhaps time has been affected in some way. Who knows? But what we do know is that what Booster sees as he's running from some Omega beams across the rooftops of what looks to be Metropolis is that Darkseid has finally amassed quite a powerful army, and that army is, believe it or not, Omega-possessed versions of the Legion of Superheroes, drawn incredibly by Dan Mora. And that's where our Alpha story ends. But hold on to that thought, because we've got the Omega story coming up next. Should I go into that, or do we want to just review the Alpha one first?
Well, the main difference between the two is the art, so I will say that Dan Mora is a god.
Yeah, those designs are wicked.
I mean, there's more than... It's the same story, it's just one is what's going on now, and one is what happened with Darkseid. So,
yeah.
I mean, as far as this goes, I feel like reading this first half is like just setting up a bunch of questions, like, what the shit did I... Okay, let me go back and reread this, because certainly that wasn't the Spectre that merged with Darkseid.
Oh, but it is, which also raises some questions as to, well, I mean, that's kind of why you have to talk about the Darkseid story, because how exactly did the Spectre get locked up in, where the hell was it? Like, the dark side of the moon?
No, that's where Eclipsa was at, but...
Yeah, that is where the Spectre was. He was locked up on the dark side of the moon, being watched by Eclipso, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Even though the last time we saw
That's what
Jim
it was.
Corrigan,
Yep.
he was like, was just in a panel in Absolute Power. So I don't know what happened, but maybe we'll get some explanation for that later.
Yeah. Also want to
Hopefully.
clarify when you were saying about the emotional spectrum, I'd forgotten about that. I went to look at that page again. That was just Hal, but that would have been his connection to the Spectre.
Ah, I see. Are you sure?
Because then 2 panels later, he's normal.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I thought, I thought it was like, it's affecting the Green Lanterns because.
I didn't realize that either until you mentioned it, that everybody that was affected was a magic user.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it could just be, like you said, his past connection to the Spectre.
So, but before we go any further, there is something that popped into my head while I was reading this.
Yes.
It's never happened to me before, but during this first half of this issue, a voice popped into my head. One that I haven't heard on a regular basis since the 80s, but I know kids that grew up in the 90s may be a little bit more familiar with his voice in a different role. I heard the voice of Kit coming out of Skeet every single time I read it, and to me that probably relates a little bit more to
Feeney.
That is Mr. Feeney.
Yeah.
And I think that
Mr. Feeney?
From Boy Meets World.
He was Kit.
He's dead now, but someone needs to be able to impersonate his voice to play Skeets should Booster ever come to live action. And if they can't, then I'm highly disappointed, but it just won't be as good.
Yeah.
That is what I'm going to hear in my head forever now whenever I read Skeet's dialogue.
Wasn't Hasselhoff's character in Knight Rider also named Michael?
Yes.
So it just works.
It definitely does.
Yeah. Let's go with that, Michael.
Which would make David Hasselhoff Booster Gold. Why is that hard for me to see?
Why you didn't fire right now?
You didn't grow up in the 80s, nor did you watch Knight Rider as it came out. No. So let me give you the backdrop on Michael Knight, okay? He's a cocky guy who was talented but kept fucking up, and then was brought in by this secret organization, given a cool talking car and a new purpose, and all of a sudden he turned into, gradually, a hero. Fucking Booster Gold.
Yeah.
It's Booster Gold. It's Booster Gold. Mr. Feeney has to be Skeets. End of story.
You've sold me. I've always just heard like a generic, like almost claptrap-esque voice, but less like annoying.
Yep.
And more robotic in terms of tone.
Yep.
But no, Mr. Feeney is perfect.
It's like it's the only thing. It's like popped into my head. It's like that's all that it has to be now. That's all I can hear. That's all it will be forever.
Yeah.
Turns out his full name is Skeets Feeney.
Oh shit.
Okay. That's all. Now we can move on to Omega. We would have went to the second half of the book. I would have completely fucking forgot. That wouldn't have done any of us anything.
Right, I'm glad we could clear the air on that. One last thing, that panel or page when Booster Gold stepped up and said, I will take the ring to Mordor.
I'll take the ring to Mordor.
That reminded me so much of his 2007 series, where he also stepped up and became like a real hero. The way Jeff Johns and Dan Jurgens had written him was like iconic, and that was the series that made Booster Gold one of my favorite heroes of all time. And when I saw that page, I'm like, okay, he's finally fucking back.
Like,
no more silly Booster again. Like we're getting back to the greatest hero you've never heard of, Booster, and I am all for it.
And not a bad setup for. I doubt they'll do it, but not a bad setup for a Booster Gold spin-off series.
Yeah.
He's trapped in the the Elseworlds and has to try and figure out where the hell he's gonna, go next, basically. Or worse, Booster Gold versus fucking Darkseid and his Omega possessed Legion of Superhero army.
Yeah, that's a losing battle.
Freaky odds on that one. Yeah, seriously.
Hard.
But yes, to turn our attention back to the All-In Special, at least the Omega side of it, this one also begins 52 days after the events of Absolute Power, where Darkseid has been shut away thinking about life and how he could be greater than he is, because he felt a surge of power and he was like, that was awesome, I want to know what that is, but I don't, and it's making me angry. So what the hell? Sorry, I got distracted.
It's a bot.
Oh, that was weird. Yeah. Anyway, so he cooked up a plan to basically try and make himself more, or at the very least get some more answers as to what that surge was, and now find what his purpose in the world is. But of course, his stupid, annoying children and underlings keep annoying him and bothering him to, I don't know, like take over the universe or something, or build up his apocalyptic army. And Calabac is talking about paradevils or some crap, and he's like, I don't want to deal with you guys anymore. I have more important things. Just fuck off already. But Calabac is, of course, not one to give up a fight, and so naturally Darkseid lashes out at the rest of them, while Calabac insists that he can serve Darkseid in some way. And of course, Darkseid, never one to pass up a good opportunity, decides to use Calabac in the worst way, by basically killing him and using his blood to fuel the new machine that he has been completing, which now finally is complete, and will allow him to wage his one-man quest across existence, basically, to find the Spectre and get the answers that he's looking for. He starts in hell, but does not find what he's looking for there, so he goes to heaven, also doesn't find what he's looking for there, so he decides, fuck it, I'm going to light up a spliff, listen to some Pink Floyd, and go to the dark side of the moon today, and makes his way there, only to find Eclipso, who apparently has been hiding the Spectre all this time, and by some kind of trickery is able to use or manipulate the boom tube to explode a sun, thereby at least eradicating Eclipso for the moment, and giving Darkseid the access to the prison that is holding the Spectre that he's been looking for all this time. But before he can even make one final move to trigger the merger that we know is going to happen, the Quintessence shows up to try and prevent Darkseid from completing the merger. Yet Darkseid reveals that he has completed, yes, you guessed it, a miracle machine. Remember those from Final Crisis and the Green Lantern? Which he then uses to bond fully with the Spectre, and becomes the malevolent Spectre possessed, or not Spectre possessed, Spectre possessing Darkseid that we saw at the beginning of the Alpha issue. And Spectre, of course, is still kind of fighting Darkseid's will, not completely succumbing to the merger, and basically informs Darkseid that his role is, it almost gets meta for a second. I don't know if you guys got this sense, but
definitely did.
Basically tells Darkseid that his role, that everything in the universe serves some kind of function in the greater cosmic balance, and that his role is to basically be the antagonist in every situation. And even when he looks into all the possible futures that await him and all the pasts that have already preceded him, every role that he's occupied has been antagonist in some way, and that it's always going to be some kind of version of him being the evil one, the great antagonist, basically. But now that Superman has kind of been able to take the Spectre out of Darkseid, at least for the moment, he decides that he's going to use this opportunity to pass on, to die, and become something new and influence a new world in a way that hopefully will yield some kind of change in the cosmic order that he's been assigned to. So we see the effects of the Omega energy on the Elseworld, and of course we see the birth of the new absolute versions of all of our heroes, including Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, in much more harsh, savage-looking conditions. And then, of course, basically, and this is where, I don't know, it seems like Darkseid has moved to a new place, but also kind of hasn't, because as he tells us, he's now developing this new world to eventually travel back to the old world and crush it. And that's when we cut back to Booster Gold in the same sequence that we saw in the Alpha issue, and finally seeing once again the image of the Omega-possessed Legion of Superheroes and Darkseid lurking in the background, or at least his image lurking in the background. And that is where this special comes to an end. So there's a lot to talk about. So maybe I'll just kind of give my review up front, and then we can talk about all the, possibilities and Easter eggs and possible storylines that may be spinning out of this. But I thought it was a really solid follow-up coda to the events of Absolute Power, and set up for everything that's coming in with All In, and definitely has me intrigued, if similar to, because Rob, I know you and I are reading the Ultimate Universe comics right now, and one thing that we kind of know is that even though each book is separate, it all has kind of the connective tissue of what happened in Ultimate Invasion, as well as certain plot threads that are, that are all tied together. And this feels kind of like a similar thing, in that it's basically setting up all this lore for the new Absolute Universe, and then you kind of have to wonder how much that's going to feed into each individual book. Maybe not at all. It could be completely divorced from it, but it kind of feels similar in that way. But yeah, no, it's a very solid setup, gorgeous art, especially from Wes Craig, who is so underrated, does a great job with this book, especially with some of the Darkseid sequences. So just in terms of score, I'm willing to give this one maybe an 8.25 out of 10. But I'm really just more excited to see what this leads to, especially with the Justice League and Absolute Comics side of things.
I'm hoping it leads to something good. As it stands right now, the idea overall seems big, seems cool, seems interesting. It just seems like a lot of shit was just thrown at the wall. Okay, what if, like, Darkseid constantly loses here because he reacts to the good guys? So let's put him in a world where the good guys have to react to him being the standard operation. And that sounds pretty neat. There's just not a lot that's making me buy into it. I'm feeling really lukewarm. I'm not sure what exactly it is. I mean, a lot of shit happened. He made a miracle machine, apparently a one-time use only deal. He killed his kid, Calabac. Calabacs are dead. But white Martians and Zarnians aren't.
Well, I wanted to clarify that as well, because I had the same thought about that. I reread the page a couple times, and I think what they were saying is, it was worded kind of weirdly, but I think they scoured the universe for the species, and I'm like, okay, well, these species are dead. I think they took the DNA of whatever was surviving. Like, they took the DNA of Lobo, they took the DNA of Miss Martian, because those two exist from those species, and it's not that the species themselves are completely back, is what I think they were trying to say.
Okay. Well, I mean, as loose as that might be, if that's what they're going with, that's fine. I'd like to know when they did that. But regardless, Calabac's dead. Blaze and, for some reason, Andrew Bennett are dead. Zoriel is dead. Eclipso is dead. What did Andrew Bennett do to get roped into this shit? I'm just curious about that.
What the fuck was Andrew Bennett in this?
He was sitting to the right of Blaze as she was in the throne in hell.
Is that Andrew Bennett?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I can't think of anybody else who that would be.
Hey, let me open it up.
That doesn't look like iVampire. What?
I remember what you're talking about, but I'm
I see what looks to be Trigon,
I think
Blaze,
that was
and
definitely Trigon.
yeah, someone else to Blaze's
See,
right, but I don't know who that is.
I put that opposite on my notes. I put, okay, it's Blaze, it's Andrew Bennett, and someone who kind of looks like Trigon.
Yeah. I'm trying to find that fucking page.
But
so
I mean, regardless, it's just I get Darkseid doesn't have a copy, so Darkseid will always exist. If he dies, he has to be reborn. He's a primordial force, like the Source Wall. So that's cool. All of the ideas come together. It's just something isn't quite clicking for me. Again, interesting premise. It's a different way to take things, and I think that it could lead to some really good reads. But overall, I'm just not sold. I'm kind of lukewarm on it. I don't hate it. I'm curious, but Wes Craig is just not one of my favorite artists, and putting him right next to Daniel Sempere is just it's so contrasting that if you're not a fan of that kind of style of art, it's going to make it that much more apparent.
God forbid you ever read Deadly Class, because that is his art in that book is fucking excellent.
Is it right next to somebody else's style? I mean, you get what I'm saying.
Well, it's sort of the point, you know. It's contrasting the hopeful heroic alpha with the, you know, dark and twisted omega.
I suppose that's a
that's
a good way to look at it. It's a good point. But altogether,
I also agree. Like
Wes
Craig was hard to look at times.
7.25
breaking my heart.
I 100% agree, and I got that vibe too, that it was definitely done on purpose. In fact, Wes Craig might have been a little scribbly at times to add on to this flow. Darkseid story is darker and a little more fun. But
the one that pissed me off was
there were a couple of panels where, like, even just the space in between the eyes was really fucking wide.
The Omega beams, that was what got me. Other than faces, because faces are a contention of mine to begin with, but his Omega beams weren't sharply angled. There were times when they were just kind of like squiggles.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's
maybe I did not see that at all, but
I mean, I'm not trying to tear the guy apart. It's far from the worst that I've fucking seen on DC. It's really not that bad. There's just some proportions and some facial shit that I'm not a big fan with. Altogether, again, a 7.25 out of 10, so that's not a bad score from me. But that's really all I got about that, other than a whole bunch of let's sit around and throw IDs against the wall and see where the hell this shit's gonna lead kind of stuff. But
well, I'm seeing it now as DC's been doing this for a while. You have Scott Snyder in here who knows how to write a long game. Whether it's good or not, he's good at long game stuff. Mark Waid, also a good long game writer, who is also heavily involved in this. And you have so many good long game writers in DC right now. So I'm thinking a lot of the stuff that's in this that might not really make any sense to us is going to make sense 2 years from now. Because
when Mark Waid comes out with a Booster Gold solo,
hell yeah. That over time, as the story gets told, we can go back to this 2 years from now. We're like, oh, so that's what that was referencing. That's what that was referencing. That was that. Like this little thing in Batman.
Absolutely.
This. Yeah. So I think it's all going to make sense later on. They have this grand scheming plan, so it might feel like a lot of stuff thrown at the wall to see what sticks. But I think it's all done with a specific purpose. Like I completely forgot about the whole tease of Elseworld, but clearly they had a grand design for that 3 years in the making.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
for sure.
We'll,
And I guess
see
I
what
didn't really.
happens.
The whole throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks was just in reference to us, like bullshitting about what's going to come forward.
Oh, I see.
I'll tell you this: after watching Holly, she signed up for those writing classes with Scott Snyder like
Oh,
a
yeah.
few years ago, and you know, he's very much a break it down in phases kind of writer. You got your beginning, your middle, your end, like everybody else, right? But he also has little increments in between, and he makes sure that the details that you need to keep track of will be brought up even in the subtlest of ways, so that they never leave your mind,
Right.
so that you
Or
can read
not
a
so
book,
subtle ways.
right, or not so subtle ways, where you read a book and 8 months ago or 8 months later it's bringing up something that you read 8 months ago, but when it brings it up you're like, oh shit, yeah, I remember that, because
Yeah.
of the way that he's written it. So I will.
Well,
I'm
that's
never
more
gonna bag
impact,
on Snyder.
but I don't know. It's my snarky comment was more in reference to the fact that I mean he hasn't done it as much lately, but he had a tendency to over-explain things like
Snyder.
that are very obvious. Very obvious things like something. I'm trying to think. I was reading like The Wake or something, which is a book that he did that I really wanted to like, but I did not like, and I was like, oh my god, there's like multiple points throughout several of the issues where he would just say the same things that would be very apparent to anyone with a cursory level knowledge of reading comprehension. It's like you don't have to over explain everything. Your audience is not stupid. They will know, right? If it has left any kind of emotional resonance, they'll know. They don't need to see it 3 times or have it very clearly stated what happened.
Oh, that
There's
would
like
drive
no
me
ambiguity.
That would drive me insane.
Yeah,
What book was this?
it's The Wake. But there are other examples I can point to where it just like you'll have a character state the obvious, and it was very frustrating to me because like you didn't have to say that. You can the classic maxim of show don't tell feels like it is ignored sometimes in the effort of making sure that exactly what he wants to communicate is communicated. It's like you don't
This
always
guy
have to
was
say
a
it.
perfect example of him doing that in death metal.
Yeah,
With Batman. He
yeah, exactly.
very very much so the guy that came in and said he was like, last episode.
Yeah.
Or it'll be like don't you feel this? It's the start of a brand new era, and it's like, of course it's the fucking start of a brand new era. You just rebooted whatever that was. Like, you don't have to say it. We know. We just saw it happen.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyway,
do you need some
those are
resuscitation?
the yeah. It's like those are the poor examples. I don't. There are many positive examples I can point to, but it's just like it's a bad habit I've noticed on some occasions.
I over explain the shit out of everything, so I can relate. Yeah, you have no idea what it's.
Like,
you think it's bad talking to me on a podcast? You should try living with me for a month.
I'm the opposite. That's why people are always like, "Huh? What did you say?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Because I sometimes I'll speak in my own terms, and I realize that my own terms are not everyone else's terms. That's probably why it annoys me the way it does.
Like, damn it, boy, speaking
like,
shorthand.
I was like, come on, man, get on my level. Anyway.
Altogether, I think it was an interesting idea bringing this in. It's just, let's see where it goes from here. Where do you guys think it's going to go from here?
I am hyped by the end. I honestly have no clue. I think this time I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the ride and try my best not to speculate. I'm just going to see what happens.
Yeah. No, the only thing I'm speculating is just if they are going to do a similar storytelling approach to Marvel's Ultimate Universe, where they have the threat of the Maker lurking in the background, and everything is kind of teasing or related to how that's going to play out in the same way that they're going to do that with Dark. So obviously, Batman will have his own storyline, Superman will have whatever, Peacemakers, and Wonder Woman will have her storyline. But is there going to be some kind of reference to the fact that this world was shaped by Darkseid and they have some kind of connection to them? I hope so. I think that would be really cool. It doesn't have to take over the storyline, but it can be an element of it if they're really trying to keep this all tied together.
You know what I can't wait for, and this is the only thing I'm going to speculate on, is that in just a little over a year, when the Ultimate Universe culminates in the first big story with the Maker's return, we'll see where the Absolute Universe is at, and they're going to cross over.
Yeah, that'd be something.
And that's going to be the lead into Secret Crisis.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
You and your freaking Secret Crisis.
I'm not letting that go.
You need to give it up.
John's dead, buddy.
John's
like
hasn't given up anything.
Conspiracy theorist at this point.
The dream will live.
The dream will never die.
I'll build my own miracle machine. I'll make it happen.
Dan Didio killed it. Dan Didio killed it all the way.
Dan Didio's not around anymore.
So many other things.
Like
legacy characters and how good the Metal Men were.
But I will say, the fact that we are getting the Marvel vs. DC omnibus print is a very good sign.
And the Amalgam Comics omnibus too.
Yeah.
However, they both keep getting delayed, so we'll see what happens.
Right. So,
yeah.
But
the fact that that's even happening,
for years they were years they were saying it will never happen. We can't reprint them. The companies just aren't talking to each other.
Dan Didio, he refused to let it happen. I read a fucking article about it. He was like, I want nothing to do with that. If our characters can't stand up on their own, then we have no business having these characters. We're not doing our characters justice.
Yeah.
I'm like, stroke yourself, buddy.
Yeah.
And Rob, to make it on Didio's way out of DC, he wrote Metal Men. And what's the one thing that everybody knew about Didio more than anything else? He doesn't like legacy characters, spin-off characters. He doesn't like that. So in Metal Men, do you know what he did?
He got rid of
He
Platinum.
fucking made one.
Oh.
Nope. Yeah. Yes. He fucking made his own. And then just like obliterated the storyline in the middle of everything. And fucking that was the end of the Metal Men.
I don't
And that
remember
really
this
pissed me off.
series. Wait, what did he make?
I can't remember. It was a Didio story, so it wasn't that memorable. All I remember is being aggravated by it by the time. I was aggravated that he was leaving and putting out the drivel that he put out. It was bad. It was the
last time I remember enjoying a Didio story was the first episode of Reboot.
There you go.
That was 1992. Actually, I don't remember everything he wrote. But shit,
I know
Sideways, I guess.
Yeah, Sideways is pretty good.
Probably some short stories here or there.
Yeah.
I know the kinds of things that he liked to not write or not have written.
Fun characters.
I think he fucked some stuff up. Yep.
He did a Top Cat short story that I thought was pretty funny once. I don't remember where it was.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Believe it or not. The old Hanna-Barbera character.
Yeah, fucking Top Cat. Awesome. My kid just showed me that there is a show called Jellystone, and it's like literally a huge Hanna-Barbera universe crossover cartoon where everybody interacts with everybody. So I've got to go check that out. He just told me about it like 2 days ago.
Right on.
Right? And like he doesn't even give two shits about Hanna-Barbera, but he was like, this looks fun. All right, cool.
End of the day, though, I'm going to give All In Special number 1 of 1 an 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Stop it, Roku. Stop.
Oh, Roku, keep going. Shh. Bark, Roku, bark.
Bark.
Great googly moogly.
Yes,
okay. All right. So shall we carry on?
Yeah.
Wait,
I think
what?
that was pretty funny.
Wow, Superman Top Cat. That's wild.
As wild as towns sprouting in the middle of a swamp.
Hey,
Not my greatest transition.
You say
Uh,
Tom's
As towns,
sprouting
not
in the
as wild as towns sprouting in the middle of a swamp.
oh.
Written by G. Willow
Yeah.
Wilson, or from Masiro Takara, colors from Arif Prianto, letters from Hassan Asmani El Hao, and a cover by Jessica Fong. The book starts out with Janet from HR doing some grocery shopping for her apartment, and of course, Ivy is really picky. Can you guys? Oh,
yeah,
that's
I can hear you.
Rob disappeared,
Uh-oh.
and for some reason, he's got my face.
Yeah, that is weird.
That is really weird. Rob, don't look like me. It doesn't do you any favors. So the book starts out with Janet from HR. Would you reach out to him on Discord and see if he lost or anything? Janet from HR. She's out there. She's doing some grocery shopping. Ivy is a picky eater, so she's trying to figure out what nuts are okay for her to buy. It's a bit stressful. She gets through. As she leaves, we see someone running away with graffiti on the building behind them that says the Green Knight lives. And then the grocery store blows up. The Order of the Green Knight is an eco-terrorist group. Ivy knows about them but ignores them because, that's what bats are for. She needs to go check out.
Yeah. They can deal with that crap. I got better things to do.
I got better things to do. But her better things to do is to go check out that town that her and Croc had seen. The one that was in the swamp but wasn't there a week previously. So she does. She heads over to it and she finds out that it's as though the town has risen back out of the swamp after having previously been sunk in for what looks like a really long time. She's looking around. She's finding stuff. Some stuff that seems gross. Some stuff that seems terrifying. Like something is just really wrong with the town. She calls Janet to talk to her, and after Janet gets off the phone with Croc, she answers. Ivy starts to tell her about the town, but Janet interrupts her, tells her that she needs to look at the news. It seems that the news channel is reporting that Ivy has been identified as the leader of the Order of the Green Knights. So we got a problem. Yeah, so we got a problem here. And that's the end of the issue. I think it's really interesting. I'm really interested in this spooky new old town with what looks like might be eyes that can follow you around and watch you on the buildings. It's not certain, it's not 100%, it's not guaranteed, but it definitely seems that way, that the actual town is watching her. So I'm really curious as to where that's going. We haven't seen something like this in the Poison Ivy book yet, so fingers crossed it's going to be great. And then there's the Green Knight stuff, which I'm curious what this is. Is this going to be a group of people following her ideals and kind of like worship her? Are we looking at Blue Earth kind of groups? Or has she just been misidentified as the leader? I need like the next 2 to 3 months issues tomorrow so I can satisfy my curiosity. Thanks so much. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was great. New kickoff for a whole new arc. Now that we're completely done with Woodrue, we finally get to completely move on in what seems to be a pretty cool new direction. I liked it. Poison Ivy number 26 gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me.
Nice. Yeah, I gave this one an 8 out of 10. It's a very solid start. Whoa. Very solid start. I'm not watching Game of Thrones. To a new arc. And I'm hoping this arc... I mean, we've gotten character development for Janet, and I'm not going to act like we haven't, but this arc definitely seems like it's going to kind of focus on Janet's reservations, maybe, of being basically Poison Ivy's sidekick. So that stuff is interesting to me, and I hope it's developed a little bit more. But art is great as usual. Interested to see what the mystery of this town is, as well as the Order of the Green Knight folks. So yeah, 8 out of 10, very solid start to this all-in era of Poison Ivy.
It's gonna be. I'm interested because it feels as though Poison Ivy's just been completely separated from everybody else. Everybody in the Poison Ivy book has been separated from the rest of the universe almost. Ivy, Harley, Croc, Grundy, Janet, none of these people were affected by anything that happened throughout all of the Waller stuff. And I did happen to notice that of all the big members, all the multitudes of people that were invited to join Justice League Unlimited, Harley Quinn was not one of them.
She hasn't quite made it there yet.
She's approved by Batman to operate in Gotham City. That's literally all it takes.
You need a little bit more than that. You need the personal cosign from Superman. No, I mean, I guess she was. Well, you could say she was an honorary member of a Justice League team during. Do you remember No Justice from 2018?
Sure. Yes, sir.
She was like, I don't remember what team that was. Like maybe it's Team Wonder. It's probably Team Wonder, or Team Mystery. I can't remember, but. I guess it is surprising that. Not surprising that Poison Ivy wouldn't have gotten the invite, but yeah, I guess it is surprising that Harley wouldn't have gotten an invitation, especially because even beyond No Justice, if I'm remembering correctly, she was one of the people that John Kent reached out to in Dark Crisis. Who was invited to be a part of his new Justice League. So maybe she got an invitation. We just didn't see it. Maybe that'll be a part of her new all-in storyline. Who knows?
Or maybe the Poison Ivy family has their entire own thing going on, which has me pretty excited for the 5 of them. Yeah. Well, I say 5, but I guess I shouldn't count Grundy all the way in. but Ivy, Janet, Harley, and Croc for sure. And
Janet's certainly not going to be a part of the Justice League.
No, but under the Poison Ivy umbrella, I feel like they're going to be off doing their own thing in the Poison Ivy world. It may not be tied to any of that whatsoever, which leaves me happy that I'm going to have an alternative avenue to get into if some of those other books and other storylines aren't quite working out for me. This seems to be heading in its own different direction. And speaking of different directions, so they're not a throuple.
No, not yet anyway.
But Ivy and Janet are sharing an apartment. Harley lives there. I didn't see her there. They were pretty much half-ass cuddling on the couch. And then, is it just me, or does it seem like Janet and Croc are getting pretty close?
That doesn't mean they're fucking.
I didn't say that they're fucking, but...
Whoa. I forgot you may have kids near your door. Excuse my... No. I didn't say they're...
I got cans on. You're all good.
Hugging. Yeah, well, at the very least, they're close enough that Janet can talk about work stuff, or at least the fact that she's, like, feeling kind of strung out.
The thing is Croc has never had anybody to talk to like that other than Harley. Well, so I think it's really cool.
Depending on the continuity, technically Roy Harper from your favorite book in Red Hood and the Outlaws.
You're right.
But yeah, beyond that, I mean, maybe Enchantress and Suicide Squad. They were trying to make that a thing once upon a time, and like 3 or 4 years ago.
Didn't work out though.
But yeah, not too many people in his circle that he's close to. at least in the villain side of things.
Yeah, so to me, it's we were talking about character growth for Janet, and I'm seeing like they're turning Croc into like a real regular character, and I fucking dig that. I really do
Yeah,
that. Well, did I give my score for it already? It
I
was a
think you
good
said eight
one.
point five. Yeah,
Yes, sir. 8.5. All right, and you? I forgot.
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
You gave it an 8 out of 10. Well, Rob said that he was going to be back in a minute,
Yeah.
but I don't see him coming back. I think he lied to us. Did he leave? Did
Uh,
Brandon, did Rob go to the store to get a pack of cigarettes?
and he's never coming back. No, I can't live like this. I don't know, Rob. If you're out there, we're waiting for you, buddy.
He may have had some things come up. While we're waiting for him, should we take a brief break, or would you like to jump up and start on JSA?
Um, I, nice, Roman Reigns. Oh man, yeah, he's a busy man. He's got things to do. I can run through JSA. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we should wait for Rob so he can give his input, but I don't know. It's up to you. I can go
All
either
right.
way.
Why don't we take a real quick 2 minute break, and we'll see if Rob can't get back with us, and we'll be right back.
Sweet. Actually, that's good. I am gonna go to the bathroom.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm back. Hello.
Hey Rob, how's it going?
Acknowledge me.
Why are you slamming on your desk? What did your keyboard do to you? I want to yell at you like you're Liam. Like, if you hit the key harder, it doesn't make you jump higher. What are you doing?
It's hitting it hard. I don't know. No, I had a bit of a migraine that I needed to find some Tylenol.
You gonna be okay?
Oh yeah, I'm okay now. Just needed to like step away, get the headphones off my head for a little bit, and try and be silent in darkness.
All good.
Yeah.
All good.
Darkness.
Well,
So emo.
outside of darkness, did you have anything to share or shine upon Poison Ivy?
No.
Nope.
It was interesting. It was an interesting new direction after what happened in issue 25 and even more so issue 24. I am really excited to see what G. Willow Wilson has planned next for our intrepid characters, especially Janet from HR. And I don't care if they dropped the from HR, that will forever be her name.
Oh, for sure.
I was thinking about that in this issue. I was like, are we ever gonna learn her last name, or is it just does not
It's just-
matter?
It's from HR
It's
now.
from HR. Yeah.
As it turns out, from HR is a bit of a misnomer, and it's just like a misspelling of her actual last name, which is from HR.
Yeah. Or maybe it's like
Yep.
from HR.
It's
From
actually
HR?
like from Ocker.
It's like,
From
it's like
Ocker.
German or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah. There you go. It's from Ocker. It's like from HR.
Actually, oh yeah, never mind. Okay.
What?
No. I mean, I was doing her reaction, which is
Oh.
like someone says that. She's like, it's okay, never
Okay,
mind.
never mind.
It's just
that totally sounds like Janet. All right. Did you?
I'm giving the issue an 8.5.
8.5?
8.5.
Same as me. Excellent. Well, I guess that wraps up. I don't have a beautiful transition since it's such an odd start for it, but Rob, would you like to cover Shazam for us?
Shazam, I would.
Shazam.
So this is part of All In. If you notice, I strategically planned these books in a certain way. We got the old story out of the
Certainly.
way, jumped to the new one, and then all the issues that we're detailing from here on out, save for one, is part of the new All In banner. So everything is a fresh start over, and this is no different. This is Shazam number 16, part of the All In. And this is written by Josie Campbell with pencils from, my God, this text is tiny, Dan McDade with ink from Roberto Poggi, and colors from Trish Mulvihill with letters from Troy Pateri, and the cover you see in front of you from Gleb Melnikov. So we somewhat pick up where we left off last issue, still in Philadelphia now in December. Our intrepid heroes, the Captain and Mary Marvel, have been going around being heroes and are now joining in the Justice League as we saw in the DC All-In special. But they are not the only ones in the family that have powers. As we saw last issue, Freddy has gained Shazam powers yet again, thanks to some weird green lightning bolt talisman of sorts that he wears on his chest when he transforms. And he's going around calling himself the Commander now. That's because commanders outrank captains, if you didn't know. As he says on the news the same night that Billy was excited to be on the news because he had his first mission with the Justice League. But here is Freddy outshining him as the commander and outranking him as an asshole. But that's besides the point.
Done.
That was good.
Right, so then Mary comes home and Billy calls a hero meeting upstairs with all the siblings. However, Pedro and Eugene are busy studying for the SATs. Well, rather, Pedro is studying, Eugene is diving. As we see one panel with him, and all he says, I just need to study forever, and then I'll die. Which, that might be my favorite moment of the week.
Eugene is me at the end of every, was me at the end of every semester, just locking myself away into the deepest, darkest dungeon so I can study.
Right.
Pedro seems to have a little bit of the jealousy that Freddy had going on.
Yeah, just a little bit. But he's also got a solid head on his shoulders, I imagine. Like he knows there's more to life right now. That he's taking these PSATs rather seriously. Darla, however, is being really buddy with Hoppy, which she can still not talk to. So far, the only ones that can talk to Hoppy, word to word, is Billy and Mary. But she's teleporting around with her own little homemade Shazam costume, calling herself Darla, Shazam's sidekick, and just running some spy missions, if you will, for Billy. One of which is tailing his latest crush, Bo. Brilliant name. Calling her Bo.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a bit of a cop out, but that's neither here nor there. That's a bit minor, rather. But then we get a hilarious little interaction where Billy is going outside the house to go ask Bo out. And
did that come from somewhere?
What?
No, I'm thinking out loud.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, go on.
Okay, you really seem like you want to say it. Now's bugging me. What
no,
do you
my
think?
my brain crossing wires, thinking I know that
okay.
there's Bo from, but it's not. It's not got nothing to do with Shazam.
Remy Lebo.
Probably.
Yeah. So he has his plan where he's going to bust out the best pickup line he's ever heard, and that is, "Are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see." And Darla and Mary instantly tell him no. And then he gets a second opinion, calls out the captain, and the captain says, "No, what? Absolutely not. What's that smell?" Then he reverts back to Billy, and Billy pulls out his body spray, which was said was guaranteed was a lady killer. And then
Axe.
turns back into the captain. The captain said, "If you ever see Billy pick this up again, slap it in his hands immediately." She reverts back, and it's slapstick comedy. It's fantastic. But he storms on over to Bo and begins to talk to her, and out pops Freddy, who has already been talking to Bo, and shows her a new app called Society, which is a neighborhood watch app where people post all sorts of suspicious activities, including and not limited to superhero and supervillain sightings. In fact, there is a giant robot downtown that is currently being sighted. So the kids decide, let's all go down there, right? Including Darla, who was ready to fight. And
An
it's just
app
horrible.
designed to report suspicious people just has Karen written all over it.
Oh, God, does it ever. Yeah.
Fuck. Anyway,
I
found that to be a little cringy.
So they all
didn't do
head
it for
over.
I guess we'll get to that later.
Yeah, was that now or was that? Yeah, I think that was a little later, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I got to comment on that because, okay, we'll get there. They get a ride from Bo's dad, who she is told they're just going to the movies, but then they are interrupted by the giant robots. So they all get out, get away from Bo temporarily, and then the trio can all yell out Shazam and turn into their hero forms. And it's a heck of a fight where they all get blasted at certain points. Billy, for instance, gets blasted far away into the city, but comes across some bank robbers. So he heads in to stop them, but then he's electrocuted by one of them, which has some kind of superpowered tech. Mary is busy saving some bystanders, and Freddy dispatches the robot by ripping it in half. But then he is seen by some person with a card which is called Society. He's wearing a black suit and he looks a little suspicious. So
quick, report him on the app.
Home, right? They all head back home, save for Freddy, who stays behind as the commander and is then seen on the news as Society's new spokesman. Behind him is a spectacled lady who we then see in a room with the same dark suited man, and the person who was piloting the robot, who is hooked up to a whole bunch of wires and sitting unconscious, floating in some kind of green bath while he's bandaged up. As they reveal that the pilot in the suit is killing him slower than before, so it's a bit better now. But then we find out that the man in the dark suit is actually most likely dead and being possessed by none other than Mr. Mind, who seems to have grown a little bit in a very creepy way.
Well, you know what? I actually happened to find out where Mr. Mind has been at this whole time.
In a cocoon?
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh, God. If only it were that simple.
That explains so much. This is more topical here. Next week.
I wish it was just a worm possessing him, and also a good percentage of the American population. But
wait,
you fucking A.
Josh, was that a Jimmy Stewart impression?
Well, no, that wasn't Jimmy Stewart. That was a really bad Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Shay, it's just a worm.
Just a worm. Oh God, I almost took off with that. No, we don't.
Right, so this was a bit of a fun issue. I gotta go back because when I read it, I thought this is a little cringe, but at the same time, I'm thinking about it like, okay, it's not as bad as you think. Was it during that whole? Where the fuck was it? It's called Riz.
Neither one of them have Riz.
It's like right before they transform or jump into some portal or something.
Yeah. It's literally as Darla is going
Darla
through
right.
Yeah, not
right. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's called Riz, baby, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know I talk a lot about TeamSpeak in comics and how it's not good, and that's because a lot of writers don't seem to get it. This wasn't overly abundant, and it is actually current lingo, and it doesn't seem that terribly placed. I didn't mind it here.
It's also, can I just add that Riz is like the only young speak that's come out in the last 20 years that actually makes sense because it's just a word that's being shortened.
Yeah, short for charisma.
Right.
That's all.
So
it
it's
is,
like
yeah.
way more acceptable to me and easier to digest than someone trying to put in chuggy. And yeah, Brian Michael Bendis, I'm talking to you.
Chuggy? Huh?
Chuggy.
Chuggy. I don't even remember
Chuggy.
that.
Well, that's pretty chuggy.
Yes. And yeah, Riz is way more acceptable than Ohio.
Oh God.
I don't even get that one. But before we make ourselves even older by talking about this, I'm just gonna say, like, as a one-off little joke, I think it was
good.
It was well done. Yeah, it was good. Not really cringy, surprisingly so. I think Josie Campbell handled it quite well.
I mean, the whole book is kind of. I'm thinking of another word. The word that I want to use right now is cheesy, but it's camp. That's it.
Camp.
The whole book is kind of campy.
Yeah, but I think like, it's trying to be at the same time.
Yeah, and it intentionally so, because like Billy,
that's
Billy
part
has,
of
like,
Shazam's charm is the campiness.
Yeah, like,
exactly.
And I think that's why it's cringe, but it doesn't bother me as much, because everything about what Billy would like, the whole sequence of Billy with the captain, where he's like, "Oh, here's the pickup line I'm gonna use." That's like a pickup line you learn when you're 11, and it's so terrible.
Yeah,
but I don't know. But it feels just in line with what you would expect from from Shazam. So
yeah, exactly.
Even the like little sibling rivalry with Billy and Freddy over the girl feels like it's perfectly in tune with what you'd expect a middle schooler to be like. Or I guess they're like early high schoolers
early
now.
in freshman, sophomore, somewhere in there. I tell you, it's better than the one that my brother used when he was 19. So
I want to know what it is.
I'm scared
but I
to
have
ask.
a feeling you can't say it on the air.
Yeah,
I mean, we could literally say anything on the air. It's
I don't want you to.
But anyway, no. I mean, honestly,
on blast.
Shit.
We're 200 episodes deep. Let's not get canceled.
I would say that it worked probably 40% of the time. And
40% of the time it works 100% of the time.
It's not the naked man, but he would walk up to girls in the club and he would say, "Hey, nice shoes. You want to do it?"
That
either
I'm pretty sure
either
I heard
he
on a
would
TV
be
show as well.
Completely. Are you shitting me?
I
awesome.
feel like I'd heard something like that before.
He would completely fucking just be completely disregarded. I saw him slapped once or twice, but a little bit less than half the time it would make a drunk girl laugh her ass off, and he'd end up getting a number or hooking up or whatever. Nice shoes, want to do it.
Well, I mean, it's direct, it's to the point, it's simple.
I guess.
Won't confuse people.
It's very direct.
Yeah. Gets the point across.
I mean, it's better than, "Hey, is that a mirror in your back pocket?"
That just
I
feels
can
like
see myself getting in your jeans.
Like almost like a non sequitur. Like, "Oh, I really like your backpack. Want to fuck?"
Yes.
Yeah,
who would say that?
Clearly, Josh's brother.
It's the shock value. It's the shock value
what?
thing.
Yeah.
I think that's why the naked man works.
Yeah.
Or like the ever classic. Does this smell like chloroform to you?
Jesus Christ!
Oh my god!
That is from a movie.
Oh my god! I hope that's from a movie.
It is. I think I can't remember the name of the actor, but I can picture the scene. I think it was Hall Pass.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, my cheeks fucking hurt.
But he goes up to a girl in the bar, says that, and then says, "Hi, how you doing? That's my name." And just completely nonchalant, tries to break the ice like that. Oh my god.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. The whole... I can derail a conversation, can I?
Anyway,
Special skill of ours.
we were talking about children.
Children.
Yeah. Not like that.
Not like, yeah,
God damn it.
no. Not like a Catholic priest.
Oh, good God. Nope. No. Jared's a Mormon. Sorry.
I don't know what that's going to do with it, but okay.
All right. Where were we with the summary?
Well, we were reviewing.
Review.
I don't. Did I say? No, we were still talking about the book. I think we were still talking about slang and pickup lines. We didn't get to the rest of the story. Mr. Mind, or I guess now just Mr., which is really weird.
No,
Why
he
is
was
everything
saying
just
don't
half-
call him Master.
Master.
Call him
Just
Mister.
Mister. But yeah, I'm still gonna call him Mr. Mind, even if they don't. Well, they no more Captain Marvel. It's just the Captain. Okay, we'll see. But yeah, Mr. Mind looks a little monstrous. A little less monstrous than he did during, what was it, 52, when he turned into a giant moth.
Yes.
But still a little more monstrous than a little psychic caterpillar.
Yeah. Certainly more monstrous than he usually looks, or
Yeah.
has looked in the past, with the big, cartoon eyes.
Yeah.
And
I like the new
considerably
design. It's
less
interesting.
like pincers or whatever the fuck those are.
Yeah, I don't even know. He's got like talons or extra legs like a spider, but also the tiny little legs he used to have. It's a wild design, but I like it. And that image of him crawling out of the dude's eye is just that was disgusting. I like
I think
it.
it's an attempt to make him look like a more formidable threat rather than a cartoony villain, and I am down with it.
Yeah, it definitely worked. When you have this psychic little green caterpillar, there's only so many ways you can make him look like a credible threat. This was definitely one of them. Yeah, I'm down with the Mind, so we'll see what happens. I like this aspect with Freddy. I am very curious as to what the hell's going on with Freddy and why he has these powers. This feels like it's going to be a drawn out mystery, but I'm okay with that because they're going to have some adventures along the way. I'm giving this a 9. I actually really liked this issue. It was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, this whole run between both creative teams has just been a fun, campy, let's throw shit at the wall and have some fun. Like, fuck it, we're just gonna do it. And I like it.
Yeah. No, I originally gave this an 8.25, but honestly, I might bump it up to an 8.5. I forgot how much I had enjoyed reading this issue. It was just a lot of fun. And the dynamics between everyone in the, I'm going to say Shazam family, so as not to give Josh an aneurysm. I'm saying Shazamily.
Oh, and you said it anyway.
I said it anyway. I had to say it. But yeah, no, seeing the dynamics between the family, but especially between Billy and Freddy is the highlight of this issue, because I don't know, it felt very relatable when it's like you and your best friend are in kind of a fight, and maybe you like the same girl, and it's kind of making things awkward. And yeah, it felt very cozy in a way, and camp, like I said. So yeah, sorry, I got distracted because I know we have spoilers. We have a book that is related to the image that I sent Josh next coming up, and I fell down a rabbit hole of looking up stuff about this book, and I wanted to send this image quickly into our chat because I thought you would appreciate it. Excellent.
In the midst of that, which it looks freaking fantastic. As far as Shazam goes, man, we're in a new direction now. I really like it. There's a whole a whole slew of new stuff going on, plus Mr. Mind to boot. I got my wish, and this is the most important piece of this issue, is that I am so happy and relieved that I got my wish for Rob to be wrong. He's not Captain Junior or Junior anything. It's not Lieutenant, like I said, but Commander works for me. I like the spin. It's not the greatest one, but it's not Captain Junior. Thank God.
I feel like Commander is very much going to be a placeholder title until, because Mary talked about how he is the weird amber that's basically helping him facilitate his powers. And I feel like once that is resolved, and because I can't imagine they're going to stick with this weird persona that he's going on. So my guess is when that gets resolved, it'll probably be changed into a new name. Maybe it won't be Captain Junior, but it might be something like that. But that's
especially since he's been calling him Baby Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't know. I just
Captain Senior.
I get the feeling that they're gonna resolve this whole thing, and Freddy's gonna get the kind of older costume, and then they'll revert him back to some variation on Captain Marvel Jr. Maybe it'll just be CM. What is it, CM3? That they call him?
Punk.
CM something. He had like a nickname when he was in the Teen Titans or something. Can't remember.
Wait,
it was
wait, no, I think you're right. I think it was CM3 or some shit like that.
CM3, yeah. Yeah, wait, hang on. Oh, I found it right here.
In the live action movie, weren't they in Chicago?
No, they were in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's been Philly for a while.
Okay.
Well, it was always Fawcett City, and then fucking
yeah.
Jeff Johns was like, "Oh, it's Philadelphia," and then Mark Waid, in his infinite wisdom, was like, "What is
Fawcett
wrong
City.
with Fawcett City? It's fine."
Yeah.
So the workaround that they have is that Fawcett City is a
Suburb.
suburb
Yeah.
of Philadelphia,
Which
just
works
like
for me.
Star City is a suburb of Seattle or whatever they're calling
Which
it now.
that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Star City was its own. You can't have a suburb be its own fucking
Do
city.
you know what a suburb is? Whatever.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old does. He just started social studies, and he's familiar with different community types.
Well,
but
maybe your 8-year-old can teach some lessons to some of these writers, because I don't think they know what a suburb is.
unfortunately, we're a little loose with our definitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only two things that so like his lightning bolt talisman that he found was green. When he showed up initially, he had all this green lightning that showed up. At the beginning of this issue, when he announced his name, it was written in green. But then afterward, Mary calls it amber. And I can't remember ever seeing amber that was green. Ever. But that's not like it's really a big thing. I just thought it was weird. The art isn't exactly where I want it to be in some of the action panels, but overall, man, this issue looks amazing. This new arc has me paying a whole bunch of attention to Shazam. I did really like this one, especially not having Junior anything on it. It gave it an 8 out of 10 for me.
Nice. I will say one thing about the art, because obviously, Dan Mora is incredible and very hard to replace, and Emanuele Lupacino is doing a good job. But the one thing I think I like about this artist, Dan McDade, more than any of the other artists who've drawn Shazam so far, is that they really emphasize the difference in size and stature between Billy and Shazam. Like I know. Like Dan Mora kind of did that, but even Billy kind of looked a little bit more like
Buff.
Buff than a 14-year-old usually would. Whereas with this one, Billy looks like your average, mall 14-year-old kid who eats too many hot dogs. Whereas the Captain is like a block. He's huge. Yeah. And that I always really liked. It works especially well when they have the sequence where they're switching back and forth, because you really get to appreciate it. But
Which it was done so good.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
if there wasn't one other particular moment that made me giggle my ass off, for no reason, might I add, but it's still going down as my favorite moment. If it wasn't for that, my favorite moment definitely would have been when he smashes that can of Axe body spray and says, "If you ever see him holding this,"
slap it on his hands immediately.
I thought
was
it
great.
was so good. I mean, it's not called Axe body spray, but I mean,
No.
Come on.
Essentially, it is.
Basically,
it definitely
Yeah.
is.
no, mine was the Tennessee line, because that is so bad. But I don't think I've ever seen someone put that in a comic, and it made me laugh.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, well then, I guess it is time to give this
Time
next
for-
book a little bit of justice, huh?
Justice. Yes. Time to give this
Justice.
book some justice, which it certainly
God,
does.
what a cover.
Excuse me.
No.
Justice. Well. Okay. I'll leave. You can talk about this book yourself. I don't have to be here. I got other things I can do. I got other books I can read.
I love it. I love it so
no,
much.
Remember at the
is-
beginning of the show, dear listener, when I said it's time for round whatever? We're back. It's time to throw down. This is what I was
It's time to
talking
rumble.
It just happens.
about. Yeah.
No.
Oh man.
Saying no when people say "excuse me" is one of my life's little pleasures because no one ever
You are
sees
just
it coming.
you're just a little stinker. You just hate people.
No, and my kids, even, I mean, fucking 8 years later, they're still looking at me like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you saying
Why
that?"
can't you just say bless you? Why can't you just say you're excused?
Well, then it's not funny.
Oh my god. It's funny for someone, clearly.
Clearly.
Yeah. Justice Society of America, number 12, final issue, written by Jeff Johns, art by Todd Knock, colors by Matt Herms, letters by Rob Lee, and one final, and I'd say pretty glorious looking cover from Mikhail Hanin. This issue, honestly, is pretty short, so you'll forgive me the short summary, but basically, Courtney Whitmore, aka Stargirl, is graduating high school. At least we realize that at the end of the issue, but the entirety of the issue is narration kind of going over the types of curveballs, I guess, you get in life, similar to curveballs in baseball. And there are three kinds: the ones that are easy to catch, the ones that are a little bit harder, and then the ones that really kind of scar you forever. And Courtney, of course, is able to relate these to moments in her life. And really, this book, this issue, is kind of a love letter to Stargirl's history and her relationship to the JSA, as we go through many different moments throughout the JSA's history, including, I believe, that first double-page splash is from the first arc of JSA, which Jeff Johns didn't even co-write, but I'm not going to go into that. I assume it's just for nostalgia. The other one is from, actually, I think they're all from, I'm just putting this together now. I'm sorry, it's a little scatterbrained, but I think I just realized what purpose these double-page spreads serve. They're all from the beginning arcs of the JSA series that he's been a part of, if I'm not mistaken. I think so.
They're well, I mean, a lot of them are like big arcs because there's that bit with the Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
That wasn't until like
it couldn't have been
issue 20
Yeah,
to
you're right.
21, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Thy Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
So never mind. But the first one I'm pretty sure is from the Mordru arc at the start of JSA. But anyway, basically, it's just going through a lot of Stargirl's history, but parts of JSA history, and really highlighting how important that's been to her life. And then we cut to the Blue Valley High School graduation, where she thanks a lot of the people in her life, including her brother and her mother, and of course her dad, Pat Dugan, aka Stripesy. as she looks forward to the next chapter in her life and says, "Bring on the curveballs." And that's where our issue comes to a close. And there's a nice little memorial to Lee Moder, the co-creator and artist on Stars and Stripe, and Jeff Johns' co-creator from the past that Jeff wrote at the end. So, yeah, honestly, I don't know. I've been thinking about this issue a lot because I don't really know how to grade it. Because as far as endings go, I'm of two minds. The first is that there's really no other way that they could end this book. There's no more appropriate way for this series to end than with this issue, because it does feel like it, kind of highlights all of the high moments of Jeff's run with all the flashbacks, as well as brings a close to the character that he co-created, and really feels like a goodbye for his time at DC. But at the same time, I'm conflicted because as nice as it is to have the send-off to Stargirl, I don't feel like we got that same send-off for the rest of the JSA.
Because I don't think that's what this was at all. But continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in
Yeah,
like that.
No, that's fair. It feels like it feels weird to not have that, right? If this whole run was about bringing the JSA back and trying to, reintroduce them in one way with a big storyline and all the characters that people love, it feels like you needed an issue that did this, but also showed that appreciation or showed that send-off for the rest of the cast. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I'm really not sure how to grade this one because I both like it and dislike it at the same time, and it's really weird. So, yeah, I'm gonna put a not applicable for
the score
this
here.
rating just for now until I decide how I feel about this one.
That's fair enough.
I completely get what you're saying. Sorry, if I could, you can go first.
Okay, so who did you say that this was dedicated to at the very end? You said his co-creator?
Yeah, co-creator of Stargirl, the character, but Star is not, obviously. Pat Dugan was a character that preceded Jeff, but
I didn't see that tribute page whatsoever.
Yeah, I'll
really?
be honest. I'm looking at that too.
I don't know.
See it.
Oh,
On mine, this entire issue is dedicated to Courtney Elizabeth Johns. That's his sister.
is this not in the issue you have?
Not in the digital version. No. Yeah.
Really?
Look at
Wow,
the screen,
that sucks.
Josh. Yeah. So it's like a back page,
Yeah.
Okay.
like the old DC Nation pages. Yeah. For some reason that didn't make it in the digital edition. I don't know why.
That is bizarre.
Yeah.
That's a shame
Well,
too, because it's a really touching memorial.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because
Yeah,
all
'cause
I've got
the
here
rest
is
says-
Happy 25th Anniversary Stargirl, and then Forever
Yeah.
dedicated to Courtney Elizabeth Johns. And it seems like the entire issue was how life throws you curveballs. A lot of them can really fuck you up. A lot of them you can't ever get over, but you got to keep on pushing and moving up. And I feel like this entire thing was him writing a note to his sister, I love you and I
And-
miss you.
I mean,
Yeah.
kind of
That's it.
to himself. I don't know. It felt a little autobiographical or self-referential is what I'm thinking.
Very, very
Yeah.
much so. For people that don't know, his sister, whose name was Courtney, died in a really bad airplane crash back in '96.
Yeah.
So that's where Stargirl's personality comes from and her first name. And
I think she was also a teenager when she died as well. I
Maybe. Actually, don't know.
maybe.
Because that would have I think that's what inspired Jeff Johns to write Courtney as like a high school age.
Yeah.
But I think in a I love you sis kind of way, this issue was good.
Mhm.
But in a Justice Society of America number 12 released as a part of a series kind of way, this had absolutely, and I mean absolutely nothing to do with the rest of the series, unless you count the fact that Stargirl was in it, and a big part of where it all kicked off. So it ends with Stargirl 2, but that doesn't do anything at all for the story. And I don't mean to sound like a dick, but I feel like we got charged $5 for Jeff Johns to do a little self-servicing. And that does sound like a dick. I know it sounds like a dick.
No. I mean, you're not.
But
I'm kind of agreeing with you right now because it is a little. I'm not in a mean way. It just feels like where. I want to say, where did this issue come from? I know, but it
just doesn't.
It doesn't
why?
fit with this series.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. Like, it's a fine issue. It just doesn't feel like the end of Justice Society of America.
No,
I
this
feel like any of the characters that we've been following got resolution.
No, none of them except for this, which seems really odd.
Yeah.
And this would have fit in great with the Stargirl series that we had just a little while ago, but not really here.
Yeah. Like,
and
I don't want to be corny because I know there have been a ton of endings that are like this, but you need that issue that's like, so what next? We defeated Perdegaton, we defeated Eclipso, like, what's the future hold in store for the Justice Society of America? Ah, shucks, so we're gonna have to wait and find out. Like, I know those endings are corny as hell, but that's kind of what you need, at least, to point towards what comes next.
Conclusive endings.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, if I can interject here. So that's what issue 11 was.
You enough.
Well, that's my problem, because I went back to issue 11 and it kind of wasn't, though. I mean, they deal with Eclipso and the Legion takes Helen into the future, and then it just ends. But you don't really see other members of the at least not that I remember, other members of the JSA kind of dealing with what the fuck just happened. You know?
Like,
and
there was that.
They spent all this time kind of setting up the future of the JSA, and it feels like, okay, so we've done that now.
Yeah.
What next? And that's how you set up where Jeff Lemire takes over. Although I was just reading an interview with Lemire, and it sounds like he's like, I'm going to be picking up some stuff from Jeff's run, but mostly it's going to be a clean break. So maybe this is why we have this issue.
They're not really communicating much at all, from what I understand, about what's happening next. Like, Jeff Lemire might be contacting Jeff Johns about a couple of things, but it's not like Jeff Johns is purposely setting things up for Jeff Lemire to take over. Like, I don't think that was the express plan. When it comes to issue 11, like, the whole series began with Huntress and ended with Huntress. It was all Huntress' story, with Justice Society being the focal point. But it was her story, and for it to end with where her journey concludes, I think, is a good bookend to the series. Yes, there's some moments in the Justice Society itself where you got to wonder what's happening, but they did give us a bit of tease for the witch girl. I don't remember her fucking name.
Salem.
Salem, yeah.
And I was thinking about that too, and I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that we got, a Justice Society of America series, but honestly, at that point, this book should have just been called Huntress and the Justice Society of America.
It would have been interesting, yeah.
Something
made more sense.
But would have sold more. I think in this issue, though, they did give a tease, because there was one panel when they were going through all the different moments in Justice Society history. There was one panel I looked at, and I'm like, I don't quite recognize this, where there was 3 versions of the Justice Society plus various other heroes from the Justice League, all in the same panel fighting each other. And that was a past Justice Society, present Justice Society, and future Justice Society. That did not happen in this series, from what I understand. From what I remember. So there is a bit of a tease for what could come in the future.
I mean, maybe
I thought that was from this series, but maybe.
So,
because I don't remember the past Justice Society coming forward in time, and there were some members, like there was 2 Power Girls in that panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were
Right?
some
An
that
old
had
Power Girl and a
3
current
Jay
Power Girl.
Garricks in there.
Yeah,
and the
like that.
future
That
Justice Society we saw in
definitely
July
did not happen.
11.
Right?
Yeah.
Two Dr. Fates that might have happened, but there were 2 Green Lanterns here. That definitely didn't happen here. One was a female Alan Scott, right? That didn't happen in this series. So they're still setting things up, but I don't know that Jeff definitely is going to be something that Jeff Lemire picks up, right?
Probably not. No, he's
this
busy writing Infinity Inc.
Yeah,
Basically, what the next series is going to be.
pretty much. This issue, though, and I completely get what you guys are saying, but if I could bring up as well Brad Meltzer's Justice League, I think it was issue 12. There was just a standalone issue with Vixen and Red Arrow trapped in a building, and had
That was
nothing to do
11,
with the
and
rest
that wasn't
of
the
story.
final issue.
What was the final issue?
That was what is it?
I'm sure that was Brad Meltzer's last issue. And then
No,
it went to the
no,
new
no, no.
creative team.
No. I know this. Oh God, I want to say it's when they go up to the basically the new Watchtower. It's like they find, because this is after the Lightning Saga.
Yeah.
And I mean, at this point, they're still pulling together the new I think that final issue, which would be issue 12. Oh, okay, now it's coming back to me. Yeah, that issue is where they invite
Monitor
Black
duty,
Lightning. Black Lightning up to the Watchtower, and he's like
Right.
hell of a view. And then they have a flashback to, because Wally's now back, and they're like, oh, Flash and Green Lantern back again, and then they have a double-page spread of the
Yeah.
Justice League of America. Yeah, but I see what you're saying. You know, although I don't know. I mean, I
still
love that
stands.
run.
Yeah,
but
it's an issue that doesn't have
I
anything
think-
to do with the
I
rest of the
still think
story.
that would have been. I still think that would have been a weird place to end that run. You know. I really do.
Yeah, like this is it was wholly self-serving for Jeff Johns, but it's also 25th anniversary to Stargirl, and like you mentioned, I didn't even think about this, Brandon. It's probably his own personal send-off for DC, which would be a send-off for what might be his favorite work he did at DC with Stargirl. And I get, for a book called Justice Society, it was 99% Stargirl, and the Justice Society stuff felt kind of shoehorned in, but it all did tie back at the end about family, and the whole Justice Society was there present at her graduation.
Yeah,
Right.
I guess
it still fits the theme of legacy and growing up, and
for sure.
the whole point of the JSA is to be there for the new generation and help bring them up. And this being like, she's basically saying that as much as Pat was her found father and is her true dad, the Justice Society itself is her family and one of the curveballs in her life. And like, as much as it wasn't the JSA, it was also part of the JSA in a weird way. It's just really deep tones. I'll be honest, I loved it. I nearly brought a tear
No,
to my
it's
eye
again
at
that's
the
why I'm
end, yeah.
conflicted, because it's an issue that I really enjoyed, but I also kind of disliked at the same time, in that it's like there is a beautiful sense of like I've finally completed my saga, you know, with this character, and I'm this is kind of my swan song to DC in my time at DC, where there were some ups, there were some downs, life throws you curveballs, but you know, in the end, makes us stronger, and we're always looking forward to the future. But at the same time, I just don't feel that sense of resolution with the JSA that I should feel in a final issue like this.
Okay,
So
what
that's kind of my problem.
It almost
My
be better
problem
if
with
Jeff
this
Lemire's
is-
JSA was issue 13.
Yeah.
See, for me, my problem is going into this, we were the return of the JSA, which we were like, fuck yeah. You're like, this is going to shake the core of the JSA. We're going to find the homes of all of these lost children. And in fact, it will change the DC universe at large. And it did none of those things.
I mean,
Well,
that's
I wasn't
also
expecting
typical
that.
marketing. Yeah.
Yeah,
When
it was more just
they'll say
an
that
enjoy-
for every new book,
Yeah.
and that's typical comic book marketing. They'll always say
It
this
really
is going to
is.
change the universe forever. I stopped
Oh,
listening
God.
to that 20 years
But-
ago.
Yeah, no, it's just
There,
a comic book.
what did this offer the DC universe? What did it give the rest of the universe at large? Because it was sold as something that was going to be pivotal,
Yeah.
and
gave us-
nothing.
Not really, though. I mean, it was always just about like, the world's DC's first superhero team has returned, and let's celebrate that. And the first arc definitely felt like that. It was the whole axis upon which it was built was the fact that, despite Perdegaton trying to change the future, the JSA and by extension superheroism endures. And I was like, great, I love that. That works, and that was very effective. The second arc, maybe not so much, because they were trying to. It felt like they were setting up so much stuff for the future that it just kind of got lost. I was still enjoying it, but in the end, I don't think it paid off as much as it set up. But in terms of what this series leaves behind, I mean, people are gonna laugh at some of the new characters that were introduced, but I still see the potential in them, and I definitely see the series as, like, if we're looking at it in a metatextual way, it's Jeff's kind of attempt to, bring more elements of what made the JSA and the Golden Age great into this new era of DC, right? So all these forgotten characters, the lost children, and trying to build out the JSA. To me, that felt like, if we're going to do Justice Society of America 2020 style, like, this is how you do it, right? Or this is my attempt. Maybe it wasn't very effective. It seems like it wasn't, but, I can see the purpose in it. So that's how I feel anyway.
Fair enough.
What I like about the JSA so far, especially with the way that Jeff Johns has written it over the past 25 years, is it started out as the Golden Age team and the first premier super team in comics history, but eventually became like a metaphor for evolution and change. And as much as the Golden Age heroes are here, they're also bringing in young heroes and new heroes and legacy heroes. Like, how many different versions of Dr. Fate have been on this team? It's
even like, the
All of
new
them?
Dr. Midnight was
Pretty much,
introduced in this run. Mr. Terrific was introduced in this run. The new
Wait, there's
What?
only
Rick
been
Tyler had
3
already been
Dr.
Our
Fates, right?
yeah.
well, there's been
Jakeem
Kent Nelson,
Thunder,
Kelly
that's another
Basur,
one, like,
and I can't remember.
Rob's right on the money. The consistent theme throughout Jeff and really the JSA's history from 1999 to 2024, not counting the period where they were forgotten, is the fact that they've always been trying to bring in new voices to continue the legacy moving forward. And this book felt like just a continuation of that. So I agree.
And even like he still puts it here with the whole thing is kind of a metaphor for his own viewpoint and run on JSA over the past 25 years, with Huntress showing up and saying, okay, we need to bring in these villains because you guys are going to reform them, and they're going to be the young new heroes that you guys are going to, like, in the future make better. And you got Salem, you got Ruby Sokov, you got Harlequin's son, and it grows, and it's really interesting.
Because even the first, like, my favorite era of JSA has been the relaunch period after Infinite Crisis, when it's Jeff Johns and Dale Eaglesham, and that first issue is all about introducing new characters, like, and that's what I liked about it. It was like, okay, we're inclusive, we're bringing in new people who are connected to the legacy and want to see the team grow. So I love that shit.
Yeah. And even that series brought in a whole bunch of characters.
Oh yeah,
like Legion Starman, and I don't even remember
Judo
all
Master
the characters.
and
Judo Master. Cyclone, that was an awesome character. I wish Cyclone was still going.
Even Black Lightning's other daughter, what is it?
Thunder.
Lightning and
Anissa?
Thunder.
Yeah, Thunder.
Yeah.
which dumb. I mean, really, you got Black Lightning. My kid's name is just Lightning.
I think Thunder was first, and then Lightning was just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're like a duo. I don't know. What would you name them?
There's like a million other things that could have come up with. I mean, storm related.
Cloudy Day.
Doesn't really
Proton
work with their powers, though.
Oh.
What?
The hell is the negative version of a proton? I forget what the name is.
Oh, wait, a negative? Isn't that just an electron?
Yeah. Well,
okay, yeah.
Or electrons have a
photons.
negative charge.
Yeah, electrons,
Yeah.
protons, and neutrons.
Neutrons, yeah. Neutron and proton.
No.
How about that? Because when they combine, they make...
What?
Captain Planet.
They make atoms.
Thunder,
Oh,
thunder, thunder!
Cats.
Oh.
When combined, they make almost an atom, which is not a great superhero name, but worked.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong... Positively charged and negatively charged.
Oh, ions. That's what you're talking
yeah.
about.
Yeah,
well, I mean, that's already taken.
Yep.
yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah. That was the Justice Society of America.
Yeah. And if you're looking for the lasting impact this series brings, look no further than the bottom left corner of that cover. Alan Scott's beard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
That's your long-lasting impact on the DC universe that will leave it changed forever. Alan Scott now has a sexy beard.
And Huntress's costume is different.
Oh my God! Wait, I almost forgot to tell you. It didn't come up naturally, but there was a preview for, I think it's Fantastic Four issue 26. I was kind of just mindlessly scrolling through it, and maybe it was just the art, but Johnny's mustache,
It's good, eh?
It's growing on me.
Yeah.
Kind of growing on
him
me.
too.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
It grew
I was
on him a
talking
while
with Reed
ago.
about something, and I was like, I don't hate this.
Yeah.
Not this time,
Honestly,
anyway.
like, it's not the greatest look, but honestly, for the character, it kind of fits.
It's something about it. Something
Yeah.
about this issue is like, I kind of fuck with it.
He's not
So
the
I-
young hothead he used to be. Like, now he's grown up a little bit, and like he's a little
Now he's
older, and
joined
he
the
wants to
Hells
try something new.
Angels.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, this is totally gonna work. He's got nieces and nephews now, and he's that older uncle that's just living life, and he's like, yeah, no, mustaches are totally cool, right, kids?
The one that drives
I'm
a
not speaking from
Harley and
experience.
drinks, well, probably not Bud Light, because that's for wimps. What's something Hardy can drink? I don't know.
Silver bullet.
Drink Bud
Pabst
Light.
Blue Ribbon.
No,
Yeah.
you can't drink Coors anymore.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
damn.
Why?
Yeah. What? Why? Oh, this is political. But ever since Bud Light put out that commercial on the Super Bowl that featured a trans person, and rednecks said that Bud Light was for, let's just use your word and say wimps.
Yeah.
I
had another word in mind, but this is a family-friendly show.
So did they. But all of those dipshits they moved from Bud Light to Coors Light, which previously was the beer that they all made fun of, saying that only sissies drank.
I mean, it's still a light beer, but whatever.
Coors Light was like my go-to water beer. It was just like I could drink 40 of those in a day if I wanted to, and I was like, I absolutely love Coors Light. Now I can't drink it because it's like wearing Doc Martens and red suspenders. It just kind of puts a label on your ass.
Yeah.
But overall, as we are wrapping up JSA, I'm going to summarize what has been a very long description from Brandon and Rob. We're going to summarize this down into just a few words. The Justice Society of America is the superhero version of Tim Walz.
I don't know what you mean by that, but okay.
He's the loving coach that's always gonna be there to bring up the other people and make sure you're supported. Right? Always super dependable, and he can pick out a donut. Yeah. All right. Oh my god, that was great. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that as much as when you were saying about Coors Light and everybody was saying that Coors Light is now the beer to drink if you hate Bud Light, Coors Light also does LGBT inspired cans every year.
Used to. They actually just did away with DEI in their corporation, so they're cozying up.
But we still get them up here, I'm pretty sure. Those cans. I think I saw them this year.
Somebody will always be hawking something, much like a bird of prey. Written by Kelly Thompson, art from Sam Basri, colors from Adriano Lucas, lettering by Clayton Cowles, and a cover by Leonardo Romero with Jordi Belair. And I'm sorry, Clayton Coles. I've been explained to me that your last name is pronounced Coles, but I can't bring myself to call you that. You're just Batman's perfect letterer, so you have to be Cowles. Sorry. So this starts off with Cass going by Ms. Shen, meeting with some people at the Ninth Day Corporation, which is basically Goop Incorporated. Translation, rich white lady bullshit that doesn't work or is pointless, like whale fat, suppositories, coffee enemas, and vagina-scented candles. Goop. Anyway, the meeting doesn't go well. Some dummies show up, guns go off. Cass handles it real quick, but then she's been recommended to these people by Catwoman, and she's being very calm, cool, and coming across as a boss bitch with nothing but class and time. So she tells them...
Dude told you all you needed to know. She didn't even have to do anything.
Not a damn thing. And she tells them that her fee has just doubled and will reschedule for later that day. The reason for the undercover work is that they believe the Ninth Day is holding captive 3 Themyscirans and 2 Bana Migdal. And as one might imagine, that doesn't sit quite well with Queen Nubia. So as Barda spars with some of the other birds, the next meeting happens for Cass, or Ms. Shen. She is shown in, then shown a secret elevator, and then the secret lab. It looks as though the Ninth Day Corporation, is sucking the Amazonian essence from the 5 that they have captured, and that is what is being added to their beauty products. The issue was a little light. I'm going to say it's a setup issue, completely moving and swinging things in a totally different direction. So I shouldn't expect much from it other than setting up that next story, but it's literally all we've been given, but I feel like it's enough. It's enough to get me interested anyway. Yeah. I mean, to hell with Gwyneth Paltrow. Damn it. I mean, the Ninth Day Corporation. The art is solid, as always, and Kelly Thompson can just write birds forever as far as I'm concerned. I enjoyed it all the way. 8.25 out of 10.
Yeah, easy, very easy 8.5 out of 10 for me. This book consistently is one of my favorites. Even when it drags occasionally, it's held up by just how much I appreciate the way Kelly Thompson writes these characters. And also Grace Choi and Onyx joining the team. Oh, chef's
nice,
play.
Right?
Like, not the picks I would have expected, but definitely ones I can appreciate. And of course, the first thing that they do is pick fights. Well, I mean, they're supposed to fight with Barda, but even when they get the shit knocked out of them, they're like, we're not taking this dying down. So yeah, it was great.
Remind me, because I meant to look it up. I know the characters, but I can't remember where they're from. Onyx and Grace, where are they from?
Well, Grace Choi is from Outsiders, Judd Winnick's Outsiders, and I don't know what else she's been in since then, like maybe brief cameos here and there.
That's all. Onyx has popped up.
Yeah, Onyx has recently popped up in Catwoman. My first introduction to her was during the War Games era, where she was basically a part of the Bat family. And then I think she was technically introduced in like Green Arrow backups in Detective Comics, but you have to fact check me on that, because she was a part of the League of Assassins and then left to go be at an ashram like Connor Hawke, and then was recruited by Batman to come back to Gotham City to be Orpheus's bodyguard while Orpheus was infiltrating the Gotham gangs.
Yep.
Anyway, great character. Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Someone I actually kind of enjoyed seeing in Teenie Howard's Catwoman.
Yeah. Onyx was a great character, and holy shit, man, you just like, that was like reading the summary on an IMDb page. You nailed every fucking point. That was great. Birds of Prey, man,
somehow. Yeah.
Continues to kick ass.
Yeah.
Fucking digging it, man.
What the hell am I giving this? 8.5 out of 10. I couldn't remember my score for a second. I don't think I have much else to add. It was an interesting setup. That part with Barda alone was just fantastic. Yeah. I like where it's going.
I like that Barda is sticking around, because Barda is fantastic.
Yeah.
Kelly Thompson is just making Barda a stellar character rather than compared to what we're reading her as now, I feel like she's always been underwritten.
Yeah. She's always been around to like
I don't know.
make a strong move and then that's it. But Kelly Thompson is having her be the powerhouse of the team, but also have a personality.
Yeah, I'm a little I love having Barda in this book, but there is a part of me that's maybe a little conflicted in that I don't know, because you're absolutely right. Barda usually is like very much the straight character, kind of like Orion used to be. Mm-hmm. In that if she's a part of a team or something, if she's not barking orders at someone, she's definitely fighting against them. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to lay it out very straight. Or if you're JMD Mateus, she's Scott's annoying wife who gets mad when he has watchtower duty.
I mean, but I would too.
I appreciate that Kelly Thompson kind of plays her more as the comedic side of the team. The only thing that the only thing I'm worried about is that it's going to become too much, and she's just going to be kind of a joke. Action wise, not at all. Like, she's still definitely the powerhouse and the heavy, but sometimes I worry about that, and that like she'll just be kind of disregarded as like the silly one who makes jokes about mutilating people or something. Anyway,
she's definitely.
But I do want her to be a part of this team because she's awesome.
A James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy Drax vibe going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I agree with that. Like, don't want her to become full on comedic presence. Mm-hmm. But as long as Barda is still written to have like badass fighting moments.
Oh yeah, totally.
I think it'll be a good balance.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to James Gunn, because I love like everything he's done, but he did take Drax the Destroyer and turned him into Drax the crowd work guy.
Yeah. Pretty much. At least when you could see him.
Right.
It's just when every word out of your mouth is like a one-liner, it just becomes a little grating and hard to take that character seriously.
Yeah.
You can make jokes, you don't have to be a joke. Unless you're the Joker. And he doesn't always
say that to his face to see what happens. Go up to the Joker and say, "You're a joke."
If you think I'm even walking up to the Joker, you're out of your mind.
I don't think anybody has ever done such a thing.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has ever done such a thing.
I mean,
actually, you know what my greatest fear would
to tell
be?
The tale anyway.
Because you would expect like, oh, if I said something like that to the Joker, it'd kill me on the spot. Which honestly, that would be better than the alternative, which is, do you remember that episode of Batman the Animated Series where like that random guy basically became Joker's like goon for a day just because he kept his information and he like begged him not to kill him when he cursed him out on the highway or something.
Yeah.
I'm summarizing this episode very badly, but I would much rather just be killed instantly than have to live my life in fear for the next 5 years that the Joker might just appear at any moment and ask me to do a favor for him.
Yeah.
That is much worse. The anxiety would kill me.
That's fair.
Here, Bob, we're gonna go for a walk, Bob. I ever tell you you're my favorite henchman?
That is a
Like Jack Nicholson,
really
bro.
good Nicholson. Holy shit. Damn. Why have you
now?
never done
Now
that
I've
before?
got to say again.
Why have you never done that before?
Jack Nicholson used to slip out all the time on accident, and everybody thought I was doing it on purpose. It's like fucking Joe from Family Guy. If I'm like trying to chastise someone in the house without coming across as a dick, my voice will slowly
Just become
turn
Patrick
into
Warburton.
yeah. Just I don't know, lighten it or something. It's completely accidental, but it happens. But
you gotta do that because I've been trying to perfect a Patrick Warburton for years. You gotta do that for
It's
me
so
one time
hard.
and see if I can emulate it.
all right, we'll work on it.
I know
Not
there's a
on
little
the
bit
clap.
of deepness and a
Listen,
crack and a lot of like up and down, but it's hard to get
Yeah.
the up and down right.
Like properly down.
You
Yeah.
You
just
have to have it properly low
it's
down.
it's literally not even like your voice going up and down. Just use your breath support.
Yeah.
Like you just push out more air when you want it to be louder, and that's it. But anyway, that's Birds of Prey, and we've got one more book to go. Should we check that one on out?
Yeah, it's not quite a bird, but it definitely has prey. It's Batman
some
number
wings.
153, Legacy number 918.
Appreciate that.
Hell yeah. I forgot to look. Did any of the other books this week have legacy numbering? Was Batman the first one?
I think Batman's the first one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know Green Lantern will going forward. I don't know what else will have legacy numbering. I imagine Superman.
Poison Ivy does.
Poison Ivy does?
Yeah,
How the fuck?
it's 26, dummy.
26. I clued in at the last second because I was thinking there was only one Poison Ivy series. What are you talking about?
Surprisingly, Birds of Prey didn't have legacy numbering, but that's in
Yeah,
like
that-
4 different series.
That would have
Yeah.
been a good one to have, and Shazam too. But that one might be
Yeah.
a bit more complicated.
And I would also like to see it on Outsiders.
Yeah.
I mean, we
There
won't now
should
'cause
have
it's done,
been-
but
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there should have been like a Birds of Prey 100, like maybe a while ago. Or actually, no, more than 100, maybe 200. I got to go back
Really?
and check. Yeah.
No shit.
Wait, hold on. I got to do the math on it because
maybe.
I was just thinking about that. I was like, how come that hasn't had any like anniversary issues or anything? It's probably because they get canceled too soon. But
yeah,
let me see.
yeah. You go do the math. I will tell everyone about Batman. This is written by Chip Zdarsky with art from Jorge Jimenez, colors from Toma Mori, and letters from Clayton Cowles. Basically, the same team that's been on the book for the past 7 years.
It ain't been 7 years, or else Batman had been a lot better.
I mean, apart from Chip Zdarsky, but like the art and letter team has been the same basically since fucking Tom King.
I ain't complaining.
Yeah, neither am I. I think it's impressive and it's fucking good. So we open up on Gotham City where family is making their way through the city, much like the Waynes did way back when the father insists he's not lost, but it continuously gets lost and then is found by a guy in an alley who says, I think looks to me like you're a little lost, and then just actually gives them directions to get to where they're going. And then they go about the merry way. All while Batman and Jim Gordon are watching it happen from a nearby rooftop. And they have a little conversation about how the city has changed. It is actually calm. Crime is down. The city's actually good for once. Let's just take the W and have a good night. Despite all that, Harvey Bullock has gone back to the GCPD, but coincidentally, maybe related to that, who knows, Jim Gordon's PI business is better than ever. And everything just feels good. But on that note, the Riddler has had a bit of a turnaround in his own life, invented a bit of security tech, and then invented a cryptocurrency, and then that made him a few $1 billion, and he started his own company called Nigma Tech and has taken Gotham City by storm, all while Wayne Industries, Enterprises, Wayne Tech, I don't even know what it's called in this continuity anymore, has pivot, whatever the Wayne company is in this series.
Oh, it's Wayne Tech.
It's Wayne Tech? Okay.
Yeah.
Every continuity's got a different name for the company. It's hard to keep track anymore. Wayne Tech has pivoted to become a bit more of a non-profit organization, looking to help the city and build it up instead of just making billions off of weapons and all sorts of technology. They're still going to be doing that because they need income to help raise up the city, but they are still currently losing money, which brings question into Bruce Wayne's leadership capabilities. But that is all kind of back-ended by Nigma, who is visited by Batman to be checked out. Batman feels that Nigma is hiding something, as Edward insists he is not, and everything is on the up and up. But he is actually hiding a little something. He's trying to make a merger happen with Wayne Tech, but Bruce is doing everything he can to block any potential mergers and insists that everything is fine in his company. He gets a call in the middle of the day, though, that something is happening downtown. Some people are robbing a bank, and he heads there as fast as he can, but he is beat out by some new costumed hero, calling himself Commander Star, who wields 2 blades on his arms as well as a gun, and uses that gun in the middle of the day to shoot the leg out, or shoot the leg of one of the criminals that robbed the bank. Batman and Commander Star have a little bit of a tussle in the middle of the streets because they used a gun, but then are found by Vandal Savage and the GCPD, who in turn praises Commander Star for his bravery and then tries to arrest Batman, as Mayor Nakano, who also arrived, says we're not changing our stance on vigilantism. So that is when he turns his sights on Batman. But Batman then escapes right away, and Commander Star is still free to go. Nakano then vows to fire Vandal Savage because he's had enough of what's going on in the city. He's losing control, basically, of not only his job, his city, but also his family.
No soup for you.
Soup. Fucking random. Yeah, so his family is also kind of like on the breaking point. His wife is ready to up and leave. But Chris Nakano just wants nothing to do with that right now. He's too stressed and too busy and is trying to make the city a better place, but it's not working because he's in over his head. Bruce, meanwhile, makes a little trip to go see Leslie Tompkins to get himself stitched up. They have a nice little discussion, and even Leslie is saying to just enjoy the evening. The city's getting a little nicer. Even our clinic is doing better than ever. Just enjoy it while it lasts. So he heads home, as does Mayor Nakano. And as Nakano arrives home, he's met by somebody hidden in the shadows with a gun who shoots him twice in the chest, more so directly in the heart, as Rowan, Bruce's new Lucius, if you will, the new, I guess, CEO was her position, or is he CEO?
He's the
Either way,
CEO,
he's the CEO.
and
Lucius
majority
was
stockholder. She is the CCO, if I'm not, or at
CCO,
least Lucius was the CCO, if I'm not
CCO,
mistaken.
yeah. So, but she took Lucius's spot as he left the company, and she's also the one in contact with Edward Nygma to try and make a merger happen, but also arrives at Bruce's home because she couldn't get in touch with him otherwise, to mention to him that there's been a claim filed against him for half of his shares as he is majority stakeholder. And then she asks, "Do you have a brother?"
Whoa.
To be continued. Yeah. So Thomas Wayne Jr. coming back.
AKA Lincoln March, even though
AKA
he's
Lincoln
very
March.
dead.
Lincoln
I mean,
March or Thomas Elliot or Joaquin
Well,
Phoenix.
Tommy wasn't his brother, but I guess he could be posing as.
Phoenix?
Yeah, did you not watch The Joker? The first one?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, you didn't miss out on much. But in it, it's alluded that the Joker is actually an
His
illegitimate son
Yeah.
of Thomas Wayne. Which, I mean,
Uh,
whoa. Vomit-inducing. Continue.
yeah. That kind of killed Batman for me a little bit. Anyway,
Just
yeah,
let
I'm
it kill the
thinking-
Joker.
Yeah.
I think we've discovered at this point nothing kills the Joker. But
Except the
I
Joker did.
digress. Did he though?
The Joker killed the Joker, yeah. You saw when the Joker killed the Joker was dead as hell. I ain't joking. Do you not remember that?
Is your brain
Right,
loading?
yes. It's frozen right now. Someone control alt delete.
With the
my
rainbow
mind.
spiral.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Try control shift escape. It doesn't.
Just unplug me, turn me off and back on again, please. Okay. So, Joker aside, yeah, it looks like Lincoln March might be back, is what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking Lincoln March is Commander Star, because there were also teases of the Court of Owls in this. So
Yes,
there's definitely
There very much was, yeah.
yeah, and Lincoln March, as we last saw him, was the leader of the Court of Owls. So
Well,
I think it's
sort of.
Sort of,
yeah. He was the lead Talon anyway, or something like that.
Yeah.
But he was, yeah, like he was a high-ranking member in the Court of Owls. So I think that kind of alludes to some
HTIC.
stuff. That it might be Lincoln March.
Mhm.
I'm kind of hoping, because I really like that whole thing with the Talons, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get the Talon from Tiny and Sirius back again, because I've been waiting for that character
Yes.
to pop up after
Calvin
like,
Rose.
10 years.
Yeah. At least.
great
I think the
fucking
last time
series.
Calvin was in anything was Batman Eternal, and that was like 2015.
Yeah, and that was like a background appearance, and that was his.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a damn shame, because he was interesting.
Mm.
I liked him, but that's the past. Yeah, this is an interesting setup issue. There's a lot of changes. Nygma's gone straight, so to speak. We'll see just how good he's going to be, but definitely feels like he's not completely out of the way yet. He's definitely got some machinations going on, but they might be on the up and up machinations, not trying to take over the city machinations. We'll have to see what happens. Court of Owls are hinted at. New anti-hero is hinted at. I think it might be Lincoln March. Nakano's dead. Did not see that coming. What could possibly happen next? This has become like who shot JR, who shot Mr. Birds kind of deal. There's like 5 people who want Nakano dead. Who killed Mayor Nakano?
Talia al Ghul. I'm kidding, it was the Court
Didn't
of Owls.
see that coming. I mean, it's always the last person. Did anybody expect Maggie to shoot Mr. Burns? No. But it happened. So
Oh, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? Oh, The Simpsons. Okay.
Simpsons, Yeah, it's like
Man,
who
that took
killed
way
Mr.
too long to
Burns?
click.
Who killed JR? Which I'm blanking on the name of the show that was from. Is that Dallas?
That was Dallas.
Dallas, yeah.
Or Dynasty. Or Dallas. One of those two. I don't know.
Pretty sure it was, yeah, something with a D. I never watched it anyway. But yeah, no, that's the vibe this kind of has right now. Is who shot Nakano. I like it. Was it Savage? Was it Enigma? Was it the Court of Owls? Was it somebody else entirely?
It was the Court of Owls.
It's the Court of Owls.
Yeah. And I think that we're going to find out that it's going to be like Washington March or something. Or it'll be like some...
Wait, what?
I can't see how they could bring Lincoln March back. I mean, they always could find a way, but I hope that
I don't know how they... I mean, I guess maybe he could be a pawn of the Court of Owls, because if I remember correctly, they were pretty pissed at him for basically selling them out at the end of Batman Eternal, and it put him in like some kind of coffin, or no, I think that's how it ended. I think that's the last time we saw Lincoln March,
right?
Yeah. Unless he popped up somewhere else that I'm forgetting. So maybe they brought him back to take Wayne Tech away from Bruce. Who knows? I don't even know why the Court of Owls is still gunning for him after this long. I mean, I thought they would have just given up by now, but anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. There's some mysteries coming in right away. I like it. I'm curious to see where it goes. The art is still fantastic. Evolution in Gotham City, evolution in characters. It's always nice to see. I like this, how they've changed the status quo of Batman over the past decade or so. It's really cool. I'll give this an 8.75 out of 10.
Right on.
Yeah, another 8.5 for me. Just more incredible art from Jorge. I mean, what else can we say? But I think
beautiful.
In this, sometimes it kind of goes like without saying, and maybe it's because we've had Mike Hawthorne for some of the previous issues, but yeah, seeing him back in this arc is just like, it's so nice. Although I don't love the way he drew Jim Gordon, but everything else looked great.
Well, I mean, they even mentioned that in the book,
yeah,
though, about like him having a new look.
Fake nose. It's ridiculous. But no, other than that, excited for this, whatever this Commander Star plot thread is going to be. I always wondered what it would be like having basically a government-sponsored hero in town, and we kind of got that with the was it the Peacekeepers, but not really, because that was privately sanctioned, just approved by the city. But yeah, it should be an interesting angle. I mean, Batman going up against a government patriotic hero is not what I expected, but hopefully it turns into something interesting. And of course, like Rob mentioned, all the Court of Owls teases seem promising, so I hope they are able to do something interesting with that, and not just another retread of Court of Owls, because that story is timeless. You don't have to do it again.
Right.
If you're going to bring the Court of Owls, do something new with it, because it's not... The advantage of that story was that Batman didn't know, or rather, he didn't believe in the Court of Owls, and then basically, was proven wrong, and kind of had to swallow his own words. But it doesn't work the story's not as effective if he's aware of them and all their weaknesses. So you have to come up with a new angle for it, and hopefully the story does that.
Hopefully it does. For me, man, it's like this book really was something else. I've been making some political jokes throughout. I'm not done yet. Gotham is more peaceful after everything. The city feels a little calmer. Leslie Tompkins' clinics have increased from 1 clinic running out of the hill to 7. There's so much good that's coming. So in complete conflict with how the real world would react, we've got right-wing conspiracy theorists saying that those that are doing the helping are actually the enemies, all while wrapping themselves up in a flag. I mean, comics, am I right? Where do they get this shit from? It's a good start for the next story, but does Bruce Wayne have a brother? I mean, we've kind of gone down that road before. Zdarsky is the man, and I'll have faith in him until I can't. But it is definitely something that we've seen before, as is the Court of Owls. So he needs to tread those waters really carefully, and I think Zdarsky can do it. The trick is making it into something that we've seen before into something new. I think the art looks great throughout, as always, of course, and I think Commander Starr looks like Psycho Pirate, Captain America, Wolverine, and J.D. Vance had a baby.
Oh my god.
The premise build-up is great. I enjoyed this issue. I gave it an 8.25 out of 10.
Right on. All right, I think that is all of our scores, and I believe that's the last for books. So now,
I guess
you're in
one
the
last
4-hour
thing
mark.
about Batman, seeing how Nakano and his wife were such big, huge parts of this issue, I guess that we're just going to pretend like it's just completely done with. She doesn't have Psycho Pirate's mask anymore.
No.
Like she
Oh,
had
I
it and it
forgot
just
about
like
that.
teleported away from her in the middle of the night some night.
Yeah.
I guess.
I forgot all about that.
But am I misremembering, or did she lose it at the end of
Yeah, I'm trying
Shadows
to.
of the Bat?
I'm thinking,
gotta-
like she
I
got
gotta
rid of it because
remember.
it was a little overwhelming.
Yeah, because I feel like she took it off and she didn't have it anymore, but I don't know where it went. I mean, maybe Batman took it somewhere.
I
just
don't
have to see.
remember like there being a conclusion to that plot.
Well, yeah, no,
at all.
she used it and like calmed everyone down, and then I swear she took it off, and then I don't remember what happened after that.
Yeah, I don't think we ever got told what happened after that. But anyway, maybe it'll show up, maybe it won't. Who knows? Zdarsky, if you're listening, there's a loose plot thread for you.
Yeah.
Well, if that is what happened, but
I mean, I'm sure he can figure that out.
yeah.
All right. Top 3 and favorite moment?
Let's do it. Who's first?
yeah.
I'm going to go with number 3. I am given to Birds of Prey. Excellent, excellent, excellent. 2 is going to Poison Ivy. And in first place, I have no choice but to dip into the honorable mentions. It's that good. Plastic Man No More, number 2.
Right on.
That is first place. God, guys, I'm telling you, seriously, read that book. Read it.
I mean, just seeing the name Christopher Cantwell on the cover gives me icky
I
vibes.
get scared.
I'll
get
I'll give
Iron
it a
Man
shot.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
You get. I'm sorry. Say that again.
I get Iron Man flashbacks.
See, I don't have that problem, but this is.
I forget Hellcat flashbacks.
No,
This is
that made no
really
sense.
good. Anyway, so my favorite moment. There were a number of good ones this week, but my favorite moment is going to have to be a single line of dialogue from Janet from HR. When Croc offers to come over to talk, Janet asks if that's wise and says, I mean, with all the police and all the bat fursona.
Yeah.
When I saw that it said bat fursona, I fucking lost it. I had to back up from my computer, stand up, and laugh. It wasn't even that fucking funny, but something about it just caught me off fucking guard. And I'm like, holy shit. Why hasn't this been in a comic book before? I thought it was hilarious. But that one walked away with my favorite moment.
Right on. All right, Brandon, what do you got?
Ooh, I did not put them in order, so I'm going to have to do this on the spot. But I would probably have the DC AllInSpecial at 3. let's see, Shazam number 16 at 2, and probably Birds of Prey at number 1. Yeah, I really dug Birds of Prey this week.
Right on.
Really good. What was your favorite moment?
Ooh, man, favorite moment. I mean, honestly, it's basic, but that panel, the double page splash panel of Darkseid with the Omega possessed Legion of Superheroes is just, that's so cool. That's just a easily awesome looking image. It doesn't need any explanation or context.
Yeah, it was
Not because I
really
like the idea of the Legion being possessed by Darkseid. It just, I don't know. It looks cool. I kind of see.
It was unexpected.
What that would be like, but very
yeah.
unexpected.
Okay, Brandon, did you realize who
Also,
it was
Saturn
the
Girl
second
and
you flipped the page?
Lightning Lad have the sickest designs. I almost wish they looked like that normally, but I don't.
Yeah.
Did you know instantly who it was when you turned the page?
Oh yeah.
Because when
Of
I turned
course.
the page, I looked at it, I'm like, who the? They look so holy shit, that's a lot.
I mean, for one, he says Legion,
Yeah.
and like
yeah.
Saturn Girl's costume and Phantom Girl's costumes are very recognizable. So it was easy to spot that off the jump. But yeah, also he says my Legion, so kind of figured it had to be.
Well, I looked at my Legion. I just glanced at like the first, their costumes almost kind of fade into the background because they're pretty uniform. So all I see is the faces, and I'm like, these look so familiar. It probably took me 5 seconds of looking at that page to go, holy shit, this is the Legion.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What about you, Rob?
So this is a little harder to score because all of the books this week scored between 8.5 and 9 for me. Coincidentally, I just really like this week. But I will say number 3, I am going to give to Absolute Power. Number 4, it's a nice little ending. Number 2 is going to go to JSA, and number 1 is going to go to Shazam. I really enjoyed the campiness there this month. It was a lot of fun. And favorite moment is going to come out of that. I think I'm going to go with Billy and the captain having an argument and jumping back and forth.
That was so
good. It's hilarious. Yeah, that's it.
That Axe body spray, man, that shit was hilarious. All right, well, that is it. We have talked forever. We are just about to hit the 4-hour mark. So before we do, let me get us the hell out of here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will be back next week covering all of DC's weekly releases. Same Geek time, same Geek channel, and that is the show. We are getting out of here, so you have to as well. Be careful out there, and remember, in the Geek Matrix, everybody has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone.
Peace.